In the White House, President Eisenhower signs the proclamation that makes Alaska's entry into the Union official, nearly 92 years after Lincoln's Secretary of State bought the territory from the Russian Tsar for $7 million.
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit arborcapital.io today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce carts, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and over. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They're the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Snow Pro AK, your snow and ice management company specializing in business and residential properties. They know what it takes to keep your property presentable and safe. Give them a call for a free estimate at 280-7098 or visit lawnproak.com. Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th. Handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
Come on, Matt, get on it. There you go.
Don't forget how to do that.
We were just talking a few seconds ago. Like, that's something I've always wanted to try out, man. I've never actually done a legit rafting trip.
Oh, yeah.
Like whitewater?
Yeah, like Rena's done them before. You know, back in the day, she worked for Siri Tourism, and so they did some really cool, like, you know, they'd go out and do the rafting trips so they could experience it, and then they were selling the trips
Yeah.
to tourists and stuff, you know, and this is a long time ago, but yeah, I've never, like, Matt, you were talking about Eagle River and a 6 Mile, you said?
Yeah.
Like 6 Mile gets like pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, man, I'm good. I don't need to do that. Like, if it don't got a motor, I ain't going, you know? And I've gotten way past that stupid attitude about it, but because I know that gets pretty extreme, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we were saying before, you have to wear helmets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I imagine you've been bucked off a couple times.
Yeah, you do, but like you get some liquid courage in you, and that water's not as cold as it usually is.
Yeah.
What water conditions are you looking for when you go down there?
Yeah, just, you want your river to be kind of mid-height, nothing too high where it's, you got to make sure the water levels are right. I mean, you don't want to go when it's too low, too high, and it gets dangerous quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, does the rain, like, okay, maybe we're going to start a little rabbit hole, if you guys are cool with it. Like, you can look for the 10 and 2 weather in Prince William Sound. You can look for visibility when you're flying. You can look for snow conditions, AVI stuff when you're snowboarding or skiing, snow machining. So when you're rafting, you're like, okay, it rained 4 days ago, really heavy, so there's a chance it might be high. Or like, do you just go and like look at it and go, not today, and hope? Or do you kind of have a gauge for what it might be?
Most of the often, paddled rivers have water level gauges that you look at.
Oh.
Are you looking at them online?
Like online?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
So you kind of know, you kind of watching ahead of time, and then you also look at forecasts, and you kind of know, okay, this is the levels I'm comfortable with.
Nice.
And I'll not speak for you, but that's what we do.
So they got like...
Yeah, you can kind of have a general feel, too, like with... Some rivers are glacier fed.
Yeah.
So depending on the melt and it's going to
time of year
impact the height of the river. But like
what the temperatures are.
Like the Crow Press River or Run crossing, they couldn't do it this year because it was that early time when the glacier was melting too fast. The river was too high.
Right.
So there's a lot of different things that affect the level between rain and glacier melt and snow melt in the mountains, that all the tributaries that feed the river. So
yeah, well, it's cool that there is some like, resource to look at like a condition before you just pack up and go do it.
Right. And not all the rivers do. Like the river that Daniel and I crossed, 19 times going in sheep hunting, that didn't have one.
Well, I
there
get
are
that.
some that would be like analogs, right?
Sure.
So that you could look at and go, okay, well, this is pretty close to here, and this is what we're seeing.
Yeah, cool.
But there is the go look at it. And be like, fuck that.
Like dip your finger in there and be like, nah.
Here's the go look at it. Like, I'm not doing that today.
See a big log floating down, like that could be a problem.
Yeah. There's a lot of that too, and it depends how long you've been doing it.
Well, maybe we'll have to plan something out, man. Because I want to go, but I almost need like a buddy. Like I need somebody that's like, man, like
jump out the plane with you.
Because don't you get the tutorial if you get bucked off? Like put your oar out, grab it.
I think you need to come do Jack Lau paddle school on the Gokana. That's
I mean,
you'll learn how to do that then.
Been procrastinating on that trip for about 7 years now.
You got to do like a mini whitewater section and
get on a paddleboard and just like break me in the right way.
Yeah, but like 6 mile, you can go just pay for the day.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I would love to go and like feel the rush. Of the danger of it.
Growing up in Alaska and doing rafting and, the water's cold, there's this whole other aspect that we miss, and it's the warm water. We're down in Costa Rica once, and we rafted this Pacare River. It's a Class 5 river, and the raft guy's just like, hey, just jump out in this one. And it's just warm bathtub water, and you're just like, man, we're missing this huge part of the fun in Alaska for whitewater rafting.
Does it like take the extreme just down maybe a smidge?
It kind of made it seem a little safer, but it was more fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's still Class 5, so it's still ripping and trashing, but it's...
Yeah. No, I didn't jump out in a Class 5 rapid,
okay.
But,
He's saying jump out and swim.
In the rapid. Yeah. But in the rapids, But we don't really do that here.
Not on purpose.
Yeah.
I did it a couple of times on accident.
Yeah.
Have you done the paddling like a team? Like
no.
So it's communication.
Oh no, yes, I have.
I mean, there's communication and stuff going on, right? Like
yes,
paddle here.
Totally.
But I did fall out. We did like a warm one in Colorado, I want to say, and the dude was like, if you fall out, it's all good. Just we'll meet you at the bottom of the rapids, And I fell out, and it was fine.
Just floated about.
Yeah, I mean, it's different than doing like the murky glacier brown mud water here that's just churning and it's 30 degrees.
I mean, I see 6 Mile and like some of those spots. I'm like,
it gets sketchy.
Oh yeah, looks a little hairy.
I got some friends that got some stories there.
I don't know.
Welcome to Alaska Wild Project, episode 88. Today we have UAA head coach Matt Shasby in the house. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
I have a couple of things here. Let me see if this is right. And I didn't go as far back as like the Eagle River days, but Lincoln Stars, Des Moines Buccaneers, UAA, Columbus Cottonmouths, Hamilton Bulldogs, Long Beach Ice Dogs, Anchorage Aces, Alaska Aces.
Alaska Aces, that's where it all
was it
finalized. Yeah, it was a good run. Yeah, I mean, getting outside and playing in a variety of different levels and leagues. And, I left my senior year to go play in the USHL there at Lincoln Stars, and that was a great experience to go live in Lincoln, Nebraska, and kind of be a Cornhusker for a year. And then got traded to Des Moines in Iowa, and Des Moines is a great town to live in. I enjoyed my time there, and then came time to decide what university I was going to attend to play college hockey, and there's really no other option for me than to come home and put on a Seawolf jersey. So I got to do that for 4 years, and that was a dream come true. I was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens, and so when I was done here, I signed a 2-year contract with them, and I got to go to NHL camps for 2 years, and then played in the minors underneath that contract. And then kind of when that contract ended, it was one of those moments of, do you keep chasing the dream higher and higher, or do you kind of just go somewhere and kind of ride it out? And the Alaska Aces came off a year of when Gomez was here, and he played for that 2000
lockout year?
2000 lockout year, 2004-5 year.
Yeah.
And so they probably should have won the cup that year, but they didn't because Gomez got hurt.
His hip, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Some goon put him into the bench and
broke stupid shit.
Broke his pelvis or something. And then it was I'm just going to go home. I want to play at home. And the Aces had a good thing going. The Sullivan Arena was packing every night. And so we assembled a team that was probably severely overpaid at that level. And there's a lot of vanilla envelopes slipping into your stalls to be able to field a team that's going to win you a championship. And we had an amazing year, and we won the Kelly Cup that year in 05-06. And so that was a hell of a ride. And so, played 3 more years of just getting to experience playing for the hometown team and selling out the Sullivan Arena. And my last game was, basically my last game was Game 7 of the Kelly Cup against South Carolina when we lost at home. And that was one of those moments where either like going out on top or
overtime, like multiple overtime.
That was our year that we won it. We had all those epic overtime wins.
Yep.
But Game 7 we lost South Carolina as a 3-1. It was a 4-2 hockey game, I think. But it was one of those, either you're Peyton Manning or you're Jim Kelly, and you're retiring without the win or with it. So it was a good run though. I loved my time here with the Aces, and set me up for a lot of life after hockey. Became a teacher for 12 years, taught middle school for 12 years, and when I went in for my when I went in for my interview to become a teacher immediately after being done with hockey, and the principal looks at me and she's like, "Yeah, I used to run security at your Aces games." I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get the job. So it was
feeling good about it.
Yeah. So and then it was, so the hockey was over, transitioned into teaching, just coached a ton of youth hockey, all different levels, just tried to be a part of the game and tried to give back as much as I could. And then when it came time to last year, when the program, which we can go into a lot more detail, and went through what it went through, and they needed somebody to kind of take over the helm, and threw my name in the hat. And now I'm a year in, and we're winning hockey games against Division I hockey programs. So it's a pretty whirlwind experience the last year, but wouldn't change it for anything.
That's great.
Well, a hell of a breakdown.
Yeah, that was good. So back in like the Pee Wee days, Bantam days, you're from Eagle River, correct? Was it Mustangs and then just playing on the Chugach team, or were you playing on like the North Star All-Star teams back then?
So I started out, MHA, Mustang Hockey Association, early on, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, playing on the outdoor rinks at Ravenwood Elementary and Greening Middle School, and learned to do a hockey stop at Greening Middle School and outdoor rinks. And there was only that, the MAC was out there, but it's pretty new. And the younger kids just didn't get time on the indoor sheet. You played outside. Yeah. Until you.
Is that where the high school team practiced too?
Yep.
Oh, so they got the choice on ice.
Yeah, it was just so limited. And, so you grow up on outdoor rinks, and then you finally become a squirt, a 10U hockey player, and played Blue Devils for 2 years. And then the last year I played in Eagle River was probably my second year of squirts, 10U. And then I played in Anchorage, both on the All-Stars and North Stars, just kind of back and forth, depending on who the coach was and where the better players were, or me not making the better team and playing on the lesser team. So that's when I kind of transitioned into Anchorage. And your parents work in Anchorage, and they got to come out, pick you up from school, and drive right back out to Anchorage for practice. For about 7 or 8 years. And so that kind of got back to when I decided to move back here. I'm like, I wanted to live and grow up in Eagle River, or have my kids grow up in Eagle River, just because of the culture that's out there. But I'm like, I'm not making that drive.
Yeah, that's a long way.
I'm not going back and forth multiple times a day. And
it's not like that far, but it's still such a logistical challenge.
Yeah.
And because the highway, there's no side roads to get around it, so you get hung up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, man, because this year my kiddo was heavily leaning toward a Blue Devil team, and she loved the coach, and it was like, man, the connection's awesome and the whole thing, but like the reality of us going out to Eagle River every day, and the coach actually was down to, for the most part, get the kids out for every practice, and I'm like, man, it just seems like too much. Yeah. Like, we love it, but it's not that far. It just is like, there's just going to be like this wear and tear, over the season. And it's like, damn, man, like, it's again, not far, but it's just far enough where you just can't swallow it.
Did you play anything else growing up, or was it just like hockey focused?
I loved baseball.
Okay.
Loved baseball. Sweet. Like I'll go to my grave saying I had the best batting average in my last year of majors when I was 12 years old. Connect history. But couldn't ever throw the ball very well. So I was like first base and just hit the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's just like the perfect, great summer sport.
Yep, yeah. Hockey's winter. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. And right before fishing.
Played a little bit of soccer up to a certain point when I realized I had to run a significant amount as you got older, and like until you realize, like your parents always put you in soccer, you don't know any better, and then you become like 10, 11 years old, you're like, I don't want to play a sport where I'm just running nonstop,
running all the time.
Yeah, like this sucks.
Yeah. Well, it did seem like thinking back at like when I went to Wendler East, and I only played like 2 years of hockey back then. But that was the days, like, I know I was with Scott and some of these other guys, and they all played soccer too, and they all played baseball. It seemed like all the hockey players either played hockey, baseball, and hockey or soccer, or some played all three. But I never heard of like a hockey player playing basketball.
No. Worst basketball players on the planet.
Yeah. Well, the seasons are so similar in terms of their, like, time frame, so it'd be really hard to play a combo.
Yeah.
Like maybe pick up stuff on the side, but you'd have to skip a practice to go to this game, and like back and forth. And I mean, once you want to get to a elite level of what you're doing, you got to be fully committed, right? Like, it has to be seasonal to be committed to baseball and the hockey, or soccer, hockey. But to do two sports, we all can't be Deion Sanders. You know what I'm saying?
Soccer and baseball are nice because soccer kicks up right when baseball's ending. So you can play them both like at young levels.
Because baseball's like a spring, like really early.
Like I said, it ends like
Alaska
before fishing,
early.
Basically. So I remember like we played baseball because didn't play on the weekends, and it was done for, you got to play all summer still, get out and play in Alaska, not the sport.
Well, you hear like, kind of leads me to a question I had. You hear a lot of benefits from parents and maybe coaches that are looking to have kids on their team that are more well-rounded as far as like sports. Because you see these parents, and I got buddies that it's like their boys are in hockey or their girls are in hockey, and it's just like hockey, summer, winter, fall, camps, all this stuff. And then like by the time the kid gets to like, 17, 18, they're over it because they've been doing it since they were like 4.
Yeah, worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
So when I was done playing, I started a summer camp, and it was called the Play Multi-Sport Camp. And I rented 2 baseball fields out off of Kincaid, and it was all hockey kids that did it. I'd have 75, 80 hockey kids out there, and you would show up at 9 in the morning, and we'd play kickball on the baseball fields for an hour. Actually, we'd warm up. We'd do like a multi-movement dynamic warm-up for 30 minutes, just learning your body, learning coordination. And even kids that are 9, 10, 11, 12 years old that are pretty elite hockey players, their bodies still need so much coordination, development, and kind of quickness and agility type movement. So we'd do that for 30 minutes. Then we'd play kickball. Then we'd do an hour of lacrosse. Then we would do flag football. Then we would play wiffle ball. So you would show up and you would play, like old school play, no parents involved. And it was like me, my brother, and one other guy. And these kids would just be arguing the whole time, like getting in fights. And you're like, you just look at them, you're like, you figure it out.
Yeah.
And like by the end of it, the parents would be like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but it's amazing. Like, because old school kids just saying, hey, let's meet up at the baseball field and let's play.
Sandlot
doesn't exist.
No.
And so I wanted to create a camp that got 80 kids together, and it was old school play.
Yeah.
And like, and we played dodgeball a lot too.
Yeah.
Which you're not really allowed to do anymore.
No.
It was like, I want you kids to wail on each other for 3 hours. I want you to argue. I want you to get in fights. I want you to not like each other when you leave today, but you're best friends when you show back up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so like I ran that play multi-sport camp for 6 years, and I have kids that are now adults that come up to me like, that was the most fun I ever had doing anything ever. It was the month of June. It was Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. because I wanted them to go home then after playing for 3 hours outside and go be a kid at home when that camp's over. And the parents were just like, I'm picking my kid up after them being outside for 3 hours. I don't care what they do when they get home. They've already played hard for 3 hours.
Right. Yes.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So, and it's amazing the response I get from kids is like they've gone on to play high-level hockey. They've gone on to do a lot of things. They're like, I've never had more fun than the play camp because it was just kids being kids. Yeah.
Well, UAA had a thing. I know my kids, up until COVID happened, they were in the UAA Sports Camp.
Yep.
And that's what it was called. It was sports. And
So you know where that came from?
from your idea?
Matt Thomas got the coaching job at UAA.
Okay.
And I told him I would bring my multi-sport camp to UAA and I would stop doing it to benefit the hockey program. And I would stop doing my hockey camp. So then the UAA started their multi-sport camp, and that came from me. I stopped doing mine once they started theirs.
My kids loved it.
Yes.
They loved it. It was like they are still asking me every year, are they going to have the camp again? Like they want to go back to the camp. And the coolest thing was it was all athletes from UAA. They had like gymnast people and
basketball players.
hockey guys and basketball players. And they had the Lake Otis rented out. So they would have like, street hockey there. And then they had the court and tag and they'd ride their bikes on one day. It was like amazing.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, you drop them off at 9, you pick them up at 5 or whatever it was.
They're just gassed.
Done. They're like ready to eat dinner and relax. And you're like, all right, this is great.
That was like full circle of, that's great to hear that your kids got to do it. And
they love it. Bring it back. And it was affordable.
Like 2 years, it was before COVID.
It was right before COVID. It ended, and then they kind of tried to spark it back up, I think. And I don't know what happened.
With the hockey program going away for those years after COVID, there's nobody there to run it. So we will be bringing it back this summer.
Okay.
Oh,
we're in. Yeah, because it was one of the I forget his name, the hockey kid who was in charge of it.
Nick Walters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually an assistant coach with the Anchorage Wolverines now.
Great
awesome
great
guy.
dude, man. He would call you up and just remind you and be like, hey, man, is Mateo and Noah going to come? Or we're doing this. Don't forget the bikes. Emailing me like, hey, the sign-up's coming up, da-da-da-da, and like on it. Awesome dude.
Yeah, he was the hockey ups guy that I kind of wish was around when I got the job because he had the knowledge, but he moved on to other things as well. So,
and Wolverines, I mean, that's. Do you feel that's a positive for UA hockey? Like them being so popular and the way that just took off like crazy.
Yeah, there was huge hunger and need and a void in Anchorage in terms of entertainment. 1, 2, like something to go do and a high level of hockey. Yeah. And so it was kind of like right place, right time for any program or any team to come online. And they did a great job. I mean, they didn't have, they did the best they could with the Ben Boeke Arena. It's a great environment to watch a junior hockey game. And so I think they really benefited from the the lack of hockey that took place, the Aces ending, Seawolves ending.
There was quite a gap right there.
There's just nothing going on in this town in the winter for the hockey fan. And I think they've really tapped into a lot of that old Aces crowd, as well as the new young hockey player. And so them being successful, which then we can go recruit those kids because they're the level below us in junior teams. Now we have multiple teams, not just them, but the teams that are coming to play them. It's easy recruiting for us. It's good for our budget. It's good for a lot of things, just access to players. And then that just makes hockey more healthy in our city, which then grows the fan base of the game, continues to, grassroots efforts. It gives these kids idols and hope and all those things that you need for hockey to be thriving in a city. Yeah. And so their first year was an incredible year. They made it all the way to the final game.
That's right.
And so they're healthy. We're healthy. And Anchorage, that used to be a very clear, obvious hockey town, kind of lost that for a while. But I think with us being back and them, their first weekend was last weekend, and they had a great weekend. I think, we're heading back in that direction of Anchorage becoming a hockey town again.
Yeah. I think we're hungry for it.
Yeah, I think it was just dormant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was always just waiting and ready for.
Well, it did seem like towards the end of the Aces deal, I remember going to like a playoff game and being like, what happened here?
Where's everybody?
Yeah, this was crazy like 3 years ago when they were in the playoffs, and then it was like the building was half empty. I was like, what happened?
I think I can like raise a hand and I might be one of those people where I was kind of casual. Mm-hmm. I was a casual hockey fan. I was a casual Alaskan fan of entertainment, and I think I took it for granted how cool the opportunity was and the resource for it, that I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. And then it was gone, and it was like, well, fuck. I mean, that sucks. Like, now I would love to go to a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm probably speaking for a lot of us out there, a casual fan that was taking it for granted. And now there's an uprise, which is good. And I can't wait to take my kids and family to go to a game and support and buy popcorn at the vendor and like the whole thing. Like, I mean, holy shit. It was like, when I was just a kid and going to Aces games, I didn't realize how cool. It's kind of a privilege because not every community can like support it. Yeah. Infrastructure wise.
I felt that way a lot, like about UAA when we were kids.
Yeah, man.
UAA would like
couldn't get a ticket.
Yeah, you had every season. Had to buy season tickets, and it was like, do you commit to this? What are you going to shovel the driveway every week? You're like, yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, We're gonna get after good point, Jack. Yeah.
Or we get one and have the dude open the side door back in the day. Yeah. I mean, I grew up over there, and that was like when UA had the cheerleaders and Dean Larson's flying around, and I remember Bogovich had that green stick, and you just like it was a whole vibe going on over there.
Absolutely, it was, man.
And that's what got me to like I want to play hockey. You
see the digital banner like game tonight, and I was just like, oh yeah. Cops are, escorting everybody in. And I was like, man.
I remember you having to park in that Cars parking lot.
Yep.
Way up Gamble?
Way up Gamble. And then you would walk all the way
That's a sketchy Cars.
Gosh. I can't imagine doing that now.
No.
Yeah. So how have in this time, like when we saw, the Aces kind of go down and let less the fan participation drop, how did the youth hockey numbers move around in terms of participation?
It's gone down with it.
Yeah.
Like, being a teacher for 12 years, I really got to watch the population shift. And Anchorage overall demographics have shifted incredibly. Like, we're famous now for having 2 or 3 of the top 5 most diverse high schools in the country.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so when Seawolves in the 80s and early 90s were packed, we were a very white, blue-collar town that loved, like winter hardcore hockey sports. But watching the population shift in the last 12 years and living here our whole lives, like my classroom, even over a 12-year period, went from a certain population of each group to like 80 80% Pacific, like Filipino, Asian,
Samoan,
Hawaiian, Pacific Islander. And it was just like every year it was an amazing to watch this transformation. And so I think the population of Anchorage, like Bartlett used to be incredible at hockey. East used to be incredible at hockey. You can't get more than 6 kids that can't even skate, barely show up for a Bartlett high school varsity tryout. Same thing with East now. Like the demographics now have changed so much in this town. And as youth hockey has been, and the biggest problem is like you see an article every week online of hockey is pricing itself out. Like it is.
Yeah.
Like even for a rec hockey kid to play in this town, it's going to cost you for a winter. Like there's a set fee, but then there's the equipment, and then there's the skate sharpening, and then there's the tape and the sticks, and there's just so much that goes into it. Like it's going to cost me $3,500, $4,000 to play rec hockey.
Yeah.
Like that's not many people can even afford that.
Tough pill to swallow.
And it's like $350 to play basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
or $350 to play baseball.
Pop Warner football.
Yeah, Boys and Girls Club basketball. Yeah.
So youth hockey is kind of a victim of the cost, or a victim of people not really understanding what the game is now in this town. And so kind of one of the missions that I realized when I got the job at UAA and being dormant for a couple of years is like we're brand new to this town. Like there's families and kids, any kid that's from 4 years old that's playing to 10 years old that's playing has no idea what the Seawolves are, who they used to be. Their parents don't know who we are. The parents don't know who they used to be.
Yeah.
Like, so there's such a big kind of focus on gathering and gaining new fan bases. It's like the Seattle Kraken going into Seattle. Like there's no built-in hockey fans there.
Yeah.
But you have to educate. You have to give people a reason to show up to games. You have to create a connection. So like it takes work to build a fan base.
Yeah.
And a sport hungry group.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, Anchorage there was a void. Like I think we're hungry for it. We're hungry for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Seattle was for the Kraken, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you had a good point there about that gap, because I think about, my kids are, 11 and 9, and if I told them UAA Seawolves, they wouldn't know. They would think sports camp. If I told them that, they wouldn't think that there was actually a hockey team. But like my son is going tomorrow to the Wolverines game. Like he's hyped about the Wolverines team, because that's like all they really know, because they missed that whole gap of Aces.
They were too little to remember it.
Yeah. But I think it is going to be beneficial that now it's like, well, once you guys get the ball gets rolling, it's like, well, you can go to this game, but then also next weekend we're going to be at UAA.
Yeah, all the hockey you can handle right now, because like we kind of open up October with a couple big weekends, and then Wolverines come in, and now they'll have a couple big home weekends, and then we come back in December and have a couple big weekends, and then they'll be back. So like, you're going to have an opportunity to go watch high level quality hockey 20 weekends this year.
Oh, that's great, man.
So like we have 6, and they'll probably have 14 home weekends, and so there's plenty of entertainment now. There's plenty of opportunity for young families to get to go watch good quality hockey, and so I think that Anchorage is trending back in that direction, and
it's great.
As well as small businesses and things like that are getting on board too, because right now, like between the Wolverines and us, there's not and all the other UAA sports, there's no other sport to watch in this town. And from like September to
May
until baseball comes back, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's a great point, man. There is not.
Yeah. How is the vibe at the I personally haven't been to one of the UAA games at UAA. Is it because it's just the one side, right, of the bleachers? How was the first couple games that we had at home?
They were awesome.
Yeah.
Like sold out. Couldn't fit any more people in there.
Nice.
Oh, good.
Pretty similar to Boeke with the Wolverines games. Like it's one side, you could put people down around the glass. We got
mezzanines shoulder to shoulder, the whole.
Yep. Yeah. So we got a new Jumbotron that's like 10 by 16 feet. That's fan interaction right across from the crowd
right in the middle
on the
there.
wall.
Okay. Oh, nice.
we got a new $250,000 sound system that just like shakes the place. It's incredible.
Nice.
It's clear. It just, it creates a good vibe there. And, we were able to get the approval of a student section down around the glass, around the kind of the northeast end. So that's all for the students.
Oh, cool.
So we got bleachers put in there, and our student section's been crazy this year.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And UAA's just never really had a true student section at any sport. Right. And that's why you go to college, is to have a connection and you have memories.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I showed up and I went crazy for 3 periods, and it was a blast. And we flipped the other team off, and we cursed at the bench.
That's right.
Right? Like, you just had an awesome time.
Held up your signs and
Like,
your whole thing.
You have school spirit. Like, kids go to
There you go.
Alabama because they want to go to football games and say they're a part of that.
Yeah, you're right. Because I went to a USC football game like a couple of weeks ago. I'd never been to a college football game. I just happened to be.
You guys went to a football game?
Yeah, when they played Arizona State, and the whole place is packed, and I'm like loving it. I think the whole thing was awesome, and I'm looking across, and I'm like, we need to go sit over there.
Yeah.
Like where the student section is. They have one entire whole like area, and it is just going crazy.
Yeah.
There's a DJ right there, and it's just like, I was like, man, I'm too
Party
old to
going
go
on
over there,
over
but I want to go over there.
Yeah, and that's
where
what
the
you
energy's
want.
at.
So we've been able to create that for the most part for the students, and we had a sponsor for the student section, so we're feeding them every night between the first and second period, and so they've been showing out. It's been incredible. But the games have been. I will take an 850 seat packed Seawolves Sports Complex, like packed crazy on top of you, people just wedged in those shitty bleachers, having a good time, versus 3,000 people in the Sullivan Arena.
Yeah, just spread out and weird.
Yeah,
And
it's just- like, it's not intimate. It's crickets. Like, you can hear like the other team talking on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's been what you want college sports to be. The good thing is that there's a lot of people working on building a new facility in town. Like, we haven't invested in hockey in this town in like 40 years.
Yeah.
We thought we did.
Yeah.
We all kind of thought we did.
Yeah.
So like Ben Boeke, Dempsey, Sullivan Arena, like there's time for a new arena that's the new focal point of hockey in this town.
Yeah.
So that's the goal, is to hopefully be opening an arena. And I would say, all that shit takes so much time, and it costs so much money now to build.
Oh, it's crazy.
You're minimum looking at a $60 to $75 million for a box.
Yeah.
A box and ice.
Where would it be?
On campus.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So that's in the work. That's like in the talks, or like it's happening.
No, it's. I have plans on my phone. Like, we have renderings. Everything's up and going. Now it's the next step is just capital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to write me a check for $70 million?
Yeah.
And we'll name it after you. And
Oh yeah, it'll be all you. Yeah.
we'll do whatever you want to get it going.
I firmly believe, as like corny or cliches as sound as you build it, they will come. Like, community will come and support it. If it's new and it's fresh and it has the vibe and the student section, good food, beer, and it's just like the thing people are looking forward to doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll.
Oh, 100%.
I again, like, raising my hand, saying like that, like, take it for granted. I think there's enough of us in my generation of lifelong Alaskans with our new crop of children in their group. I have a hockey player my daughter plays, and like it'll spread, man. It'll spread and like revitalize.
Yeah, you
really will.
want your children to have the memories that you have,
man.
Right?
Yeah, maybe it's just a fresh start.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think like we only have 16 home games a year.
Yeah.
College hockey, you only play 34 games total per year. It's an incredible, that's like a really lame youth hockey season.
Yeah,
34 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So for us, like, we can sell out 16 games a year pretty easily, just because it's such a rare product. And we're like, this year we have 2 home series in October, then we have 2 in December, and then we have 2 in March. So our season's really spread out. But we can really dial in and build and make sure people show up and sell out. And if we had a new arena and you're going to have, like you mentioned, the newness is just going to bring people in for
it'll be a draw.
You're going to have a 5-year window of people buying season tickets just because they want to go to the arena.
Packed. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's new and it's fresh. And
well, you hit it on the head. Like, you want that same nostalgia that we had as when we were kids. I mean, I remember my mom dropping me off and my buddies at Sullivan Arena and just like pick us up at 10 or whatever, you know. We'll be running around out here and you know, messing around, and like I want my boys to enjoy that and go to a place that has that, you know. I think it's important for the city.
And the other thing about UAA when we were kids, there's like you, there's a lot of homegrown talent. And I mean, that goes a long ways because like our parents worked with the other guy's mom or whatever. You have this like one step connection to these people, and you see like what happens when you work hard at something, and then it's something amazing what they're doing out there, and you're like, oh man, this could be me, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like a driver that gives everyone hope and spirit.
Well, it also encourages those kids, such as it did for you. Like, you want to come back and play for the hometown team, you know. And so having that new place and the new facility, your ability to now recruit, you know, some of these younger kids that are coming up. It's like, you don't have to go anywhere. You could stay right here and be the hero, you know, because that was one of the things that attracted me to going to UAA and Aces games, as I had buddies that were now Seawolves and buddies that were now Aces. Right. It's like, oh, we're going to go see the homie go play, you know, let's all go out and do that.
Yeah,
you know, and then as those kids are raised up and maybe they're not on the team, but their friend is, or their cousin is, or, you know, somebody they know from their mom's work or something, it just creates that community, you know? Yeah.
No, it's good. I like the positive, like thought process of like what the future of hockey in Alaska is.
Yeah. It makes Anchorage a better place to live. At the end of the day,
it adds to it. Yeah.
Seawolves and Wolverines and all the other sports within our university make Anchorage a better, more desirable place to raise your kids and to live and to be a part of.
Yeah.
Well, and as we I feel like Alaska is trending in a very similar direction. Not like to get into like politics stuff, but like the Idahos and the Oregons and the Washingtons, and as they change and evolve for the good and bad, Anchorage is evolving in a similar fashion, where it's becoming a desirable place to come live and buy a home and raise a child, and our schooling and our, you know, solid infrastructure, and it's like hockey, as we mentioned like earlier, like maybe it kind of hit rock bottom and it's now picking itself back up and then coming back at a perfect time.
Yep.
Where, like you just said before, it's a desirable place to come live and raise a family, start a career, you know, maybe revitalize a career, whatever it is. And then now you can actually go and watch some awesome hockey at the same time. Because we are a hockey town.
Right. Oh, 100%.
Fairbanks, Anchorage, like we're, you know, Kenai, the Brown Bears, like we're a hockey community. We're a Nordic winter, like logistical place. Like it feels like, oh yeah, Alaska has some badass hockey. They're known for good hockey. Like we need to that needs to come back.
Yeah, we definitely were known like in the 90s. You know,
right, Matt?
then.
Like, I mean, we were talking about the old Alaska Aces, Anchorage Aces, and UAA, like the Larsons, it's like it had this prestigious kind of like on a pedestal.
It's a big part of Anchorage's identity.
Great, well said. That's I think what I was trying to get to is like it was very much embedded in the fibers of what kind of Anchorage is.
Yeah, and I think a lot of you mentioned politics, but I think a lot of the politicians realize how important hockey is to the population of Anchorage, where like we're going to have the mayor come out and drop the puck at our game in December, just because the hockey community has been heavily impacted from COVID, from the facilities that have been utilized, and from the the homeless situation that's currently going on in our city, and so I think that he's been very supportive of the needs, and there's a whole back and forth of being heartless and this and that, and like, what do you need a hockey rink for? And like, it's just so much more to our community. These rinks mean so much more to our community than just a place for hockey.
Yeah.
Right? It's the health and mental health of our children, and just being a place that, you know, supports the growth of our community, just positivity and within our community, and, and not allowing. And so I'm happy to see that, you know, we actually might end up having the governor come out to our games in December as well. So
nice.
You know, I think that they realize now that the hockey community has a voice, and they've kind of taken a little bit of a beating the last year or two. And so I think that that'll be good to show that connection to the importance of the game on the whole state scale, and the politicians recognizing how important hockey is to our town and to our state.
Yeah, to see it in full effect, right? Like in the moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you know, like as a hockey parent, hockey is a big commitment, and we talked about earlier. It's expensive, and then the weekends and the travel trips and all this stuff. But man, it's like, it is kind of a rigorous grind, but at the same time, man, it's such a cool thing to do in the wintertime, because it gives you something to look forward to and do, and something you're committed to. And given that we go through long, hard winters, they kind of fly by when you're constantly going to the rink. You know, Dempsey, Boeke, O'Malley, UAA. I definitely have been on both sides of the fence where I complain about it, because it's like, God damn it, it's just like got all this other stuff going on, and you got this other commitment. But at the same time, it is like really like awesome pastime.
Yeah. Well, you'd rather have it than not.
Yeah.
Yes. So like when you talk about the rinks and the facilities and all that, like, well, hell yeah. Like, I mean, like I was just talking to my buddy Jimmy. He's him and his crew. He works for the Muni. He's a mechanical plumber. You know, mechanical. They got the bid and the contract for Dempsey and Boeke. And I don't know if you've been in Dempsey anytime recently. It's warm in there, Matt.
Yeah.
Dempsey's known for like I have a Dempsey coat at home. Okay, I have a Marmot down jacket that's my Dempsey coat. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of parents can relate to that. But I was in there and I'm like, what the hell, man? I'm hot. And my buddy Jimmy's, I walk up and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm thinking he doesn't have a kid in any of these teams. I'm just checking on the place and figured I'd get a little hockey during my lunch break. And I'm thinking like, oh, okay, like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, me and my crew, we got the contract here. These last guys were ripping us off and not fixing shit. We went through and fixed all the thermostats and fixed all the mechanical. Like, they basically were going through and hitting the check boxes, not fixing anything. And we were paying for it. Yeah. But he actually went through and he gives a shit because he grew up his whole childhood going to those rinks and practicing and playing,
freezing his ass off.
Yeah,
and the parents always going like, "Oh, fucking Dempsey, man, Boeke."
Can we get him to go to the locker rooms and get the hot water going?
Oh, he was stoked. Oh my god! If you go to Dempsey right now, every urinal and toilet works.
No way.
Wow.
I'm Matt. Just for fun, if you're driving by, you get a second, just walk in there and do your thing, because you know the facility better than anybody. And you will have an appreciation for my boy Jimmy Owens and his crew to go in there and fix that up.
It's a recruiting opportunity.
But it was cool because, like, here's a homegrown Alaskan hockey player that was like, oh my God, like my rinks.
Yeah,
they need to be fixed, and
That's
it's like
incredible.
The little things, right? Yes. Hockey's coming back, man.
Yeah,
love it. Yeah, I've been bitching about those toilets and sinks and that. And Dempsey for
walk through there, man.
Oh,
they're all working.
God,
they're not running.
Wait. I'm going tomorrow.
And it's warm, man. You can go in there with that shirt on there.
Yes,
I can't say that you could stand on the bench with your team and stay warm, but as a parent or standing around the edges, you can wear a hoodie. Yeah. And it's like, okay, it's still kind of cold about your feet, but.
Those showers, you need to send them over. Those showers at Subway are next.
Send them over to Subway.
Oh, boy.
Does everyone still call it Subway or what? Or Tesoro?
Oh, I mean, I've been calling it O'Malley.
Yeah.
I've been shifting it, so it's like, because you can't, it's kind of like you can't go wrong, because I don't know, I think it's like Kelly Connect or something. But Subway to the end, man.
Yeah, it's such a Soro or Subway.
Some people call it the blue
Soro.
line.
Yeah, it's always the blue line.
That has never changed, has it?
Yeah. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Barney Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. Barney specializes in supplying hunters with the absolute best Alaskan-proven gear on the market for some of nature's most rugged and demanding terrain. Whether you're headed to the remote volcanic islands of the Alaska Peninsula in search of a brown bear, or the shale-infested glacial valleys of the Brooks Range for Dall sheep, it is critical you choose the right gear for your dream hunt. Don't miss Barney's exclusive brand, Frontier Gear of Alaska, tested from the high mountains of Tajikistan to the extreme conditions of Alaska. These products were designed for high performance and durability. Frontier Gear was derived from decades of experience hunting big game in Alaska. Paired with other top brands, it provides you the absolute best gear selection anywhere in the world. Stop in at Barney Sports Chalet in Anchorage on Northern Lights or check out their custom website and reference tool at barneysports.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience. At Total Truck, you can find brands such as ARE, RSI Smart Caps, Goose Gear, iCamper, Front Runner, Rigid Lights, Rhino Linings bed liners, and everything you need to outfit your truck or SUV. Alaska Overlander provides 4x4 vehicles and expedition trailers, custom modified for Alaskan adventures and outfitted with rooftop tents, fridges, and all the camping and cooking gear you need to start exploring. Visit them at alaskaoverlander.com. Yeah, like early in the summer.
I was looking at the UAA roster earlier today, and I noticed 3 Alaska boys on there. I want to say Max Osborne, Brandon LaJoy, and Maximilian Helgeson. Mm-hmm. Did you coach Helgeson when he was little?
I coached
or does he have
Osborne,
a brother?
or I coached, both Helgesons. He has a younger brother.
Okay.
And I coached Osborne too, and he was a bantam.
Okay.
For the Alaska Junior Aces when we had the Junior Aces for a little while.
Yeah.
So I coached both of them, and Max was one of those kids. Helgeson was one of those kids that I coached his entire life, whether it was with the play camp or it was summer camps. But my brother actually coached Helgeson for I think 4 years through 12U and 14U.
Okay.
And I coached Max's younger brother Luke for I think 6 years.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I remember seeing him. I don't know which one it was that played with my buddy Josh's daughter, Nisa, who played with the boys.
Yeah, I just saw Nisa today.
Yeah, she's great. She's
giving her a hard time. So like Nisa was like a daughter to me, because I had Nisa for her whole youth for 6 years, and then I saw her working at a coffee shop today, and she was just got real sheepish because if there's any girl on planet Earth that should be playing Division I girls hockey, it's her.
Yeah,
like she's the best female hockey player I've ever seen. But she just got burnt out. Like enough was enough, and life goes on. And but yeah, I love Anissa. I love Josh. Josh is an awesome guy. But yeah, so I got good memories of Luke and Anissa, and that was my son's group. Yeah, that I coached for.
Okay, he was on. Okay, that's right. And then Josh told me something interesting when I told him that we were going to have you on. He said he remembers the very first day that he came and dropped off or came to Anissa's hockey practice, and you were the coach. And he said that you said there's only three things you need to do, and one was be on time. The other was be quiet or be on time. Be on time, be quiet, and your kid's not going to go to the NHL, so don't worry about it.
Yeah,
something like that. and I was like, that's
relax.
Yeah, relax. Yeah, that's what it was. Relax, be on time, and don't worry, your kid's not going to go to the NHL.
just enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, there's this like stigma of like hockey parents, hockey moms that are just like overbearing.
Crazy.
Everyone's crazy. Yeah. It's like everyone thinks that their kid is going to like make it to the league, and it's just like, chill out, man. He's 10.
You're like 0.00001% of hockey players get to play, even at like the Division I college level.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. So like my biggest advice to any youth coach or to any youth parent is just enjoy the 8-year window you have. Don't ever put your kid in the backseat of your car and pull away from the rink and bring the game in the car with you. Your job as a parent is to just say, do you want to go get ice cream? That's it.
Yeah.
Like the coach, you entrusted your child to that coach. Let that coach coach. Don't be a second coach. Don't be a parent that leaves memories in your kid's head of, I used to play hockey, but every time my game ended, I used to get in the backseat of the car and my dad used to just give it to me.
Hear all about it.
Yeah.
Like that's, as a parent, I'll be honest, like my dad was bad at that. Like bad. Like yelling at me mid-game in the backseat of the car. And one thing when I had a son that started playing, I promised myself I would never bring the game. The game would never leave the rink.
Yeah.
And I was my son's coach his entire life. And so that's maybe a little bit different.
Challenging.
But never once did I ever critique his game. Did I ever say he should have done something different? I was his coach. And then the second that horn ended, I was his dad, and I wasn't going to ever bring up the game of hockey as his dad. It was, do you want to go get ice cream?
Yeah.
Like that's going to do so much more for your kid, just letting them enjoy the game, love the game, think about it on their own, but don't ever be that front seat coach to your
That's
kid.
great advice.
I kind of see that already. My kids are 6, and between hockey, baseball, skiing, and these other things, like there's a group of parents that are a little more intense, and we stop and have a moment where the kids are like, why are we stopped on the stairs or wherever? And it's eye contact, and it's like, what's hockey about? What's skiing about? What's baseball about? And the response back is, have fun, because that's what we're there for.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
100%.
that's that quiet support. Growing up, I played soccer most of my life, and my dad would come to all the games, but he never said a word. But he was always there. Just be there.
Yep.
Be there and just be like, his thing was like, did you have fun? And that was it. And so then once my kids started playing soccer and baseball and all that stuff, and then I brought my wife to a game. Well, she goes to all the games. And she's like screaming on the sideline. And I'm like, if you're going to do that, I'm not going to come to the game with you, and I'm going to stand over here. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You should just be quiet. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm excited for the game. And I can't help it, because she was a big time soccer player. So she's like frustrated because these 8-year-olds aren't like doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I was
she's
like,
in her mind, she's engaged, right?
Yeah, she thinks she's helping. Yeah. She thinks she's helping. And I'm like, you're not helping. And so then like the third game, my son who's 8, he's like, something happened and she yells at him, and he just stops and looks at her and he says, Mom, stop yelling at me. You're distracting me from playing. And all the parents just look at her, and then I look at her. I was like,
Enough said.
That's it. And ever since that, it's just like silence. And all the other parents too are just like, that's it. Like it took him and good for him to actually say something, because a lot of kids will just like, just eat it, just
finally turned around and was like, Mom, enough.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, good for you. I was like, I told you. And then I waited till like later. I was like, I told you. Oh yeah. And it seems like now, like we actually got like a sheet, like how to be a good parent.
Yes.
Which I thought was really
insane?
Good. Yeah, you got to like tell people this.
Adults need a how to not be a jackass at a sporting event / be a good parent.
Yeah.
Sheet to behave.
It
reminder, still doesn't work.
No.
Doesn't work.
You got to like make them sign the contract.
Screaming at referees.
Yeah.
Adults like threatening referees' lives over a child's game.
I have a vivid memory. So my daughter got to play on one of the girls' tournament teams that you coached. It was probably like, I don't know, five years ago. Mm-hmm. She was way little and probably shouldn't have been on that team, so I'm not sure how she even got on that squad, because you had like a lot of younger girls that weren't quite as developed, and you had some really, really awesome girls on the team. And end of the deal, this tournament ended with Anchorage team and Fairbanks team. That was collectively grouped of like Fairbanks, North Pole, Delta. group, and I had to do a score on that game. And thank God the other dad had to do clock, and he was really good with the clock because there was like tons of penalties. Yes. I don't know if you remember the game.
You weren't part of the game.
Well,
was that the game where they called goals back?
Yes.
We thought we won in the shootout.
All of it, dude.
Emptied the bench. Bullshit.
I swear to God, man. And it was like,
I tell people that was the most epic hockey game
and
ever.
And I'm like the most brand new, like, hockey parent that I was just like, oh my God. Like, the parents, though, man, the parents were, I was like, I was embarrassed as how some of them were acting. And then there were like threats of almost fights, and there was parents like waiting for the refs. The refs had to get snuck out the back, dude.
What?
I swear to God, man.
This game was the most. I've never been part of a crazier hockey game than the Ponytail Championship against Fairbanks.
And your wife
Delta.
came down with your baby, and you guys were all excited, and it was just like, it was like, and then when I walked out of the, you pop out at the time of the subway, and the locker rooms are right there, right, and then there's like Fairbanks parents just like standing there, wife holding her purse, and dad just like they're talking and like, what's that ref's name? I want his name. I want to know where. And I'm like, I think the dude made like $45 to ref this game. Like, Jesus Christ, man! Like, it's not. And in all reality, too, Matt. Like, I know that there are girls and kids that remember the game.
Yes.
But like, I think when really at the end of the day, when all the kids go home, they could give a shit less about the result. Like, they want to go to their friend's sleepover, the movies, the ice cream. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
get
like
over it. Yeah.
That and like back to what you were saying earlier is like, as a hockey parent, man, it's fun to just like go to the game, watch it, cheer, slap the glass when it's appropriate. Never like look at your kid like, you never do that whole thing. You just like quietly support it, and then when it's all said and done, you go get in the car and just move on with the weekend. And it's never like, if they want to dwell and kind of like be in their feelings about it, you just kind of let them have their moment. Like, if you're upset you lost, or you missed the pass, or you missed the game-winning goal, or whatever it is, like, let them like handle that. And then like when they get home and take a shower, and then like they flip on their favorite show or whatever, or start some homework, it's like no one gives a shit.
Bring it up again.
I gotta hear this story, like, about the epic game,
dude.
Oh yeah, Matt,
so like,
I was trying to do the score. I'm so confused. Oh my God! And they're yelling at me too, Matt. The parents are yelling at me. I've never been so stressed out in my fucking life.
I want to hear it.
So I think we were down like 3-2.
Oh man!
We pull our goalie. We score with like 40 seconds left. 3-3. Okay, awesome, great. We take a penalty. We're shorthanded. Then there's like 17 seconds left on the clock. Like, a draw's on our own end, and somehow the puck comes out. A girl on our team goes down all the way, and she scores with 1 second left on the clock. Where we win 4-3. Game's over. So like, we're going crazy. We're high-fiving. Like, the coaches are like, this is the greatest thing ever, because we were down. Yeah. We tied it. And within a minute, we scored again to win the game. The referee comes over to me. He's like, hey.
Young refs too.
Young
very
refs.
young.
He's like, hey, the clock didn't start, and you guys scored with 1 second left. The clock didn't start for 3 seconds, so we're going to disallow your goal because
I was with the dad.
It wouldn't have counted because time would have ran out. I'm like, our team was already like on the ice celebrating championship,
throwing the gloves and the thing,
game over. I'm like, you're really going to do this? Like, based on like clock, like nobody knows.
It's over.
And so he goes over and talks to like the box for a while, and he comes back. He's like, got to do it. He's like, no goal. And I'm like, their crowd goes crazy. Like, yeah.
And that dad was like, are you kidding me? You're going to do that?
Yeah.
He's like, I was hitting the fucking button, and that button is like
sticky.
Like, you got to press it hard.
So then,
oh man. It's all because he didn't. He's like waking up in the middle of the night.
I told you push the button on the thing, and he was just like, the game was so intense as a parent. Like,
Oh, it gets better.
You're in it.
Yeah.
Go,
it gets
Matt, go.
better. So we go to overtime.
Yeah.
And they come in to overtime. They come around the back of the net. They throw a puck in front. Our goalie covers it.
Yeah.
The kid blows his whistle, but the puck comes loose and the girl knocks in the puck.
Yeah.
And then the young referee says goal.
The
other team empties their bench thinking they won the championship in overtime. And I called the other ref over because I knew him. I go, come here. He blew his whistle before the puck was in the net. You can't call that a goal.
Yeah.
I'm like the referee's
They looked at each other confused on the ice too. They were like, oh.
And so I call him over, call me. I'm like, I need you guys to listen to me. That was no goal. You need to call it back. And they go over to the scores booth and they're talking because the Fairbanks people are going crazy.
Yeah.
It's about the money. They're like screaming. It's just
so
like,
they go back over. They think they've won. And the referee comes out to center ice and says, no goal. So then it becomes fucking chaos in this place.
It's very hostile.
So
Very
overtime
hostile.
continues.
Yeah.
And we play it out. Overtime ends. We go to a shootout.
Yeah.
A 3-person shootout. And we score, like they score. We don't score. They don't score. We score. And the girls on our team thought that it was sudden death at that point. So if we scored, then we won the game. So a girl on our team scores. So we empty our bench again. Gloves are all over the ice for the second time on our team. Their team's already done it once.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, they still get a chance to shoot.
Yeah.
So we got to put all our shit back on. And we get back on our bench. And then the other team goes down, doesn't score. Throw all of our shit again for the third time. And since they called that goal back in overtime, the Fairbanks people thought they were robbed. They thought everything was stolen from them.
Yeah.
And our girls are having the time of their lives. Like, they just had a massive upset. Like, we probably shouldn't have. We were massively outmatched. We win this game.
Yeah, they were nasty that whole tournament. That
Bunch of
Fairbanks
big girls
group.
slaughtering everybody.
Yep.
And so this mom comes running onto the ice, like after the handshake line, screaming, "We were robbed! Like, you girls won!" Like people are looking at you like, "What is happening?" And this is the same lady that hunted the refs down at the refs
She was
box.
like, "I want their names. I want their names." She's like pointing at the coordinator of the tournament, and I'm like.
But
and the other dad was like a long tenured hockey dad. He hit one of your girls on that team, and I, for the life of me, can't remember her name and his last name. But he had I feel like he had gaiters and like snow gear on and shit. Like, I think he just like flew out somewhere and like started his bear bait station and like flew back. And he's like, "Oh shit, I almost forgot I had to clock this game." So he like rolled in there, and I'm like, okay, and I'm scoring this thing, and I'm like, man, I hope there's not lots of penalties. And dude, all those stoppages, I had so many at the end, the ref like filled it out for me. Like, it was a really stressful experience.
Yeah, never will I or ever see a game again where there's 4 championship celebrations that took place,
man,
and then an eventual winner.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And back to the original point, and great, like, telling that story, man. Like, your angle was a lot better than mine because I was very stressed out and just wanted to get out of there.
We couldn't tell.
I wanted to get out of there so bad.
Like, that was all of my junior college pro coaching now, that was a top 5 hockey game I've ever been a part of.
Well, that's awesome.
Like, it was.
Glad I got to share that with you.
It was amazing.
It made it worth it.
It was a
my
girls'
goodness,
tournament
man.
in April.
Well,
made up of girls from all over the state.
And girls hockey has gotten a lot better since then, as far as like the organization and the amount of teams that we have. So those tournaments were just like always just a benefit as a girl hockey dad, that like your daughter can like extend and play in these games. And even like then, like they were putting some, like my daughter and some other girls on that team that didn't belong as far as like skill set, age, size, speed, but you brought them on, you coached them, you practiced, and you made lines and did the thing, and it was still like, as a parent, it was like, oh, it's so cool, my kid gets to skate with these other big girls, and they were so supportive and so nice, and like, that's what's really cool about girls hockey.
It's a celebration.
Yeah, man, it's like it's not like they're one-upping each other and shit. Like, they're just like supporting, and you watch a practice and all the girls are smiling. It's like, man, this is such a positive vibe of like hockey, you know. And but that's cool that you remember that game, man. That was awesome.
Do you find differences, you know, coaching an all girls team versus an all boys team, like in your approach?
Yeah, I think a boys team's a little bit more just like a bunch of puppy dogs. Like you tell them things and they're just like nodding their heads and they go kind of try and do what you're telling them. And then you have a girls team that you're drawing drills up at the board and they're just like locked in. Like they're just processing, and then they'll go and like they're physically not as capable, but they're doing everything you just asked them to do. Yeah. And like you mentioned, they're doing it with a smile on their face. Yeah, man. Like I coached my daughter's team the last 3 years, and my favorite thing in my day was to go coach that group of girls because they show up with the best attitude. And, like, you just love their smiles at the board for every drill, every game. And they just give you everything they got. Like, they don't question the competition side of it. They just show up and they try as hard as they can and they have a good time and they love the locker room and they love each other as teammates. And so, like, I really, really enjoyed coaching girls hockey. And I think that if I ever stop doing what I'm doing now is – like I would love to go back to just coaching girls hockey. Like I wouldn't hesitate in a heartbeat, even if it wasn't my own children. Yeah, I'd just want to go coach girls hockey instead of boys, because just of all the things that I mentioned. Yeah, and then they just appreciate it more. I think they appreciate the coaches more. Boys are a little less like, you know, understanding of like how much time and how much everything that you put into it
and sacrifice.
Yeah. And the girls just like kind of get it. Yeah. And so I loved coaching girls hockey.
That's kind of interesting you say that. We were getting off the ice yesterday with the Learn to Play and with Kurt over at AHA, and, you know, we're just helping out. But the 3 different kids came up and said thanks on their way out, and they're all girls. The boys just like walk by blindly. Yeah. And you're just like, okay, well, I wasn't expecting thanks, but thank you for saying that. That's super sweet.
What about the different levels? Like you're going from like Pee-wee to juniors or, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm a better college coach having spent 12 years from working with a kid from the first time he puts on his skates to every single step of the process, like understanding the development ladder and the time that it takes a player to progress to the ability to play at junior and college, and experiencing every level through that process is important. I think a lot of times higher level coaches go from playing pro hockey or playing college hockey and go straight into coaching pro hockey and college hockey, and you don't really understand how slow the process is, the skill acquisition and how it takes place, and really like the trials and tribulations of what that player went through. Even though those guys played pro hockey and they went through it themselves, you don't really appreciate it until you either parented a kid that went through the process or you've coached every single level of that process. Yeah. And so I think I'm a significantly better coach for experiencing that the last 12 years as a college guy. If I would have went straight from playing for the Aces to coaching college hockey, I wouldn't be a very good hockey coach. You would like,
it's like almost you didn't have the base down.
Yeah. You would take your pro mentality. You would take your like, but this is how it's like. I have such an appreciation of what it took to get for these kids to be putting on a Seawolf jersey and all the levels of, you know, the slow process that it takes. Like I tell my parents at the start of every year, like hockey is like, imagine a swimming pool, like an Olympic swimming pool. And every time your child comes to the ice, you put a single piece of sand into an Olympic swimming pool. Like, how many pieces of sand is it going to take for that pool to be filled up? Like, that's what it takes to be an elite level hockey player. And that's coming home from school and picking up your stick and going out in the street and playing street hockey. That's a piece of sand. That's a kid going into his garage and shooting 500 pucks. That's one piece of sand into an Olympic swimming pool. There's the 10,000 hour rule to get good at something, but hockey's much different to where it just needs to like kind of be a part of your like core being to be an elite hockey player. And it's not 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, private lessons and all that bullshit. It's all on the kid loving the game. And like, I don't think there was a time period from third grade to eighth grade that I didn't walk in my front door after school, because I walked home every day, drop off my backpack, pick up my street hockey stick, go get the nets on the side of my house, drag them out into my street, and 4 of my buddies came over and we played street hockey till literally the tennis ball was so frozen that it would kill you if you played goalie.
It's as hard as a rock.
Or it was so dark, like we just couldn't see the ball anymore.
Yeah.
And that was 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I would play street hockey if I didn't have to go to practice, or I'd play right up until the second my parents had to take me to practice. And that's why I became a pretty elite hockey player, was because of just slowly like adding
that sand.
Pieces of sand to that swimming pool. And or just like skating too. Like, you just have to be one of those people that just puts skates on your feet or enjoys, in the summertime out in Eagle River, I would wake up in the morning and I'd put my rollerblades on, and I would rollerblade from like northern part of Eagle River all the way to downtown, and then rollerblade all the way back home. Like, that's like, I developed majority of my skating just spending probably rollerblading 10 to 12 miles a day in the summer.
Yeah.
Just enjoying putting skates on and enjoying street hockey and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things where I do think that, at the end of the day, I will go to my grave saying I am a significantly better coach because I've experienced every level of the game. And I love the fact that I spent the time that I did in youth hockey to get me to where I'm at now.
What would you say as like a new player or someone who has a young kid that's in there that should be a priority or a focus? Is it obviously the love is there and the passion is there and it's on them to like come home and do that every day? Is it everything in general, or do you think skating is the one thing that's like that's going to propel you faster, or is it puck handling or just your vision of the ice? Is there something specific that's like should be a little bit more focused than the rest?
No, I mean, I think that spending the time on like the things that you mentioned, like quality touches, is very, very important. So like you have your season, and the season is what it is. Like, it's your practices, it's your games, and you're going to get out of it what you get out of it. But then outside of that, the kid needs to be doing things like I mentioned, playing street hockey, playing knee hockey, playing, all the little things that surround the game. But also the parents put the kid in a situation and right development opportunities to become a better skater, to become a better stick handler. So one thing I did when I was out in Eagle River, there was this figure skating coach, power skating coach. I don't know her name, but I went to her every year, and she just had this, and there's no gear, it's just skates out at the MAC, and it was just like perfecting my stride. And she used to hand us cups of water, like Dixie cups of water, and we used to get in our stance, and we would do laps around Fire Lake holding Dixie cups of water to the top, and you weren't allowed to spill a drop of water.
Oh, wow.
So I had created quality touches is finding people along the way that really know how to make you better in those individual skills, a better stick handler, skater, shooter, all that good stuff. So like I would do 30 minutes, and I got to the point where I wouldn't spill a drop of water. Like my upper body was so quiet and my stride was so perfect. And I'm just like, I look back and I'm like, it's hard to find those moments in time where I developed like an elite stride and became a really good skater. And I attribute it to not like my youth coaches. I was able to be exposed to a quality touch of this person who helped create like a perfect stride for me.
Yeah.
So like if you're a parent, it isn't put your kid in every fucking camp all summer long just to keep them in the camps. It's find what is a quality touch, a quality camp, and do that, and then take a break, and then let the season be what it is. But I put my kid in a skating camp. I put my kid in this stick handling camp, and that's all we did. And it wasn't, I need my kid to be playing like private lessons in the morning, and then do camps in the afternoon. Like it needs to be quality, purposeful development.
Yeah.
And then the kid just needs to be enjoying all the other aspects of the game.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Good.
That was great, man, because that, like all the hours, endless hours you've spent in hockey skates and in a rink,
Yeah.
you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like so basic, right? Like how many endless hours you stick handling and shooting
Oh, yeah.
and doing a monotonous and just
I can't remember a single practice from the age of 8 to 16.
Yeah, anything like individual, right? Like,
but I remember spending time with this lady in the summer, perfecting my stride, and like that was the best part of my game. Like skating was the best part of my game, and I attribute it to her and spending 14 miles a day in the summer on rollerblades. Like I could play 35, 40 minutes a night and not ever get tired because I had just developed a perfect stride and like a cardiovascular base that I just would never get tired.
Totally.
Right. And so there's just like, there's little things, I bet like in any sport, there's little things in an athlete, like you attribute your elite skills to.
Yep.
Whether it's a quarterback or it's a pitcher or whatever it is, like there's certain people and then there's just certain things that created the final product.
Yeah. A unique like portion of training that you didn't think was really going to be like a big impact.
Like you look back, you're like, holy shit, that was why.
Really
I bet you weren't stoked to like, oh, I'm gonna go skate with this lady. with this
what does
cops.
she want me to do? Yeah, exactly.
With Laura Stam, was it Laura? No. With Laura gone, and I don't know. Is there another like elite skating coach around?
Not really. Like I had that experience when I was a kid, and so my son, who like maybe the best part of his game is his skating because I just knew how important it was, and I was his dad and whatever. But I made sure that I found a figure skating coach in town when he was like 7 to 10, and he spent time with that person.
Okay, yeah,
like not hockey.
Yeah,
just become an elite skater.
Yep.
Okay, you're pretty good. I think I can take it from here. But I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't take him to the next level of being an elite skater, even me as myself. I needed somebody else to step in.
Yeah.
Another voice, right?
Yeah, another voice and somebody that was like knew how to teach skating better than me. Like I can teach hockey, but there's people that can teach skating better than me. There's,
So we break it down.
I can watch people on Instagram and whatever that can teach stick handling better than me.
Yep.
To be where I'm at in my level as a coach, like it's more leadership and a lot of other things,
right?
And motivational and all that stuff. But in terms of teaching, like refining skills, there's people that can do it way better than I can.
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of when you hear of elite like boxers who did like dance.
Yeah.
Or even some of like the Russian hockey players that do dance, like Russian dance. Ballet and stuff like that. Like they'll go home in the summer or whatever and they go to do ballet and dance and then they're better skaters,
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Let's do it.
The Treehouse AK, your one-stop dispensary located at 341 Boniface Parkway. Be sure to ask the bud tender about their deal of the day because honestly, there's always something good on deck. And guys, listen, this is where the culture lives. At the Treehouse, their dedication to servicing consumers has been developed through a lifetime of involvement in the cannabis culture. They're committed to providing the highest quality products at whatever value your budget affords, while always maintaining the deep-rooted principles that have carried them this far. Their focus is on relationships over transactions, and you can always depend on them to treat you with the respect you deserve. Hit them up at thetreehouseak.com, and remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
Tailored Restoration, 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Tailored has an emergency response number with trained professionals available to help you at any time, day or night. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Make an appointment today at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Since 2008, Serrano's is Anchorage's own new generation of old cocina. Their menu showcases the passion and love of their rich heritage and unique family recipes that have been passed down through the generations. Serrano's goal is to embrace and display trad flavors using the best ingredients that are available. They focus on making everything from scratch daily. In-house menu includes handcrafted corn tortillas, salsas, carne asada, and chorizo. But don't take their word for it. Experience their tradition and sabor for yourself. Locations on Tudor and Northern Lights, both with new tequila bars. Check out their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
The Connoisseur Lounge, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. The Connoisseur Lounge is Palmer's first locally owned and operated cannabis retailer. Their beautiful store is located at 226 Evergreen Avenue. The Connoisseur Lounge has exclusive cannabis products such as Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and one of our favorites, Sugar Cookies. And if you're not into the flower, the Connoisseur can hook you up with edibles, vape supplies, and a ton of CBD options for all your health and inflammation needs. Check out their daily deals at theconnoisseurlounge.net, or even better, stop by the lounge today. Remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
And that's like where it starts. You know, like I remember, you know, like some coaches' philosophies were so different when your kid's so young, and it was like, look, at the end of the day, if they can't skate, all those puck handling skills are for nothing.
Can't play. Yeah.
I mean, if they can't cut, you know, back check, if they can't know how to put themselves in position, glide, timing of their angles, like they don't know that stuff. There's nothing like stick handling can do for a kid. They can skate up and down the rink and skate around everybody. In the end, they get the puck taken away.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
So one thing I did with my group, my son's group, the 04 group, is every Tuesday night was no puck Tuesdays.
Yep.
And they knew it, and they absolutely loved that night.
Oh.
They fucking loved it.
Sweet.
Because they knew they were getting better, and it would be nothing but an hour of a skating clinic. And all the rest of the week, it's hockey or teach, blah, blah, blah. But they know they're showing up for skating. And we did it for 4 years. There's no puck Tuesdays. And so what that became is by the time we became a AAA team at the national level.
Yep.
So 12U's, like kind of the first year, this online company called My Hockey Rankings, like they rank you nationally, internationally with Canada, based on your strength of opponent, your record against those teams. And we started going out and playing against those teams, and we could kind of compare ourselves against the best teams in the country and best teams in Canada. And at the end of the day, like we weren't more skilled or bigger or whatever, but we could skate with anybody. Like we could shut teams down because we could skate. We would just wear teams out.
Yeah, almost like pesky.
Yeah, just relentless. Relentless.
Like always just
wave after wave after wave. Like,
grinding
like who the fuck are these kids from Alaska? Like, this is obnoxious because they don't stop. But it all resorts back to skating, and it resorts back to compete. But and then we went into like Bantams, and then we're like, we were a top 5 team in the country, and it was 100% because we could skate with anybody. Like all the way through.
The basics, right, Matt?
Yeah. Like, and that's the thing too, is like, so now I'm coaching college hockey, and we're only going to ever be as good as our fundamentals. Like I have kids now that are good junior players or whatever it is, but their ceiling is whatever their fundamentals have been their entire life. Like, how good of a skater were they now that we got them? How good is their hands, or how good is their shot? Like, you can break it down to real basic core fundamentals. Like, we're only going to win games because we have guys whose fundamentals are higher, and we can work on those fundamentals while I have them for 4 years at UAA, and they're going to get better. And that has to be the basis of our program, is when you show up here, your fundamentals are going to get better year to year, so then we're better year to year, and we can compete with better teams year to year. Like, you need to show up as a freshman and be this level of skater, this what you are, but you got to be significantly better skater by the time you're a junior and by the time you're a senior. And so the only way we're going to be successful is to recruit kids, and then to get them in here, and then to have them have that burning desire to get better. You know, it's tougher to have a kid fundamentals get significantly better at that age, but it has to be what we're about. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like the most basics of a kid.
Like core values of hockey, skating, and fundamentals of what it is. And we touched on this before the show to kind of warm up to the conversation with college sports, hockey, and the way that's changed. You used a term, what was it called? The what program that creates that parity, the
N1 or
DL something.
The transfer portal.
Yeah. Transfer portal, and then you said something after that. Transfer portal is the main part on how you can improve or build or get a program going kind of quick. Like it helps bring talent in kind of now, right?
Yeah, I mean, so for us, I mean, it's going to be like, we're trying to get better quickly. Is there's two ways to do it: the transfer portal, and then obviously having a culture that kids want to be a part of, and having all the foundational pieces of what a good college hockey program has, which is academics, a rink, student life, a town that's like good social life.
Yeah, and culture that supports it.
Yeah, and so, you know, we kind of came back at a time when it's like we could be competitive quickly because of the transfer portal, and our team right now is built from 11 freshmen and 15 guys from the transfer portal.
Can you explain what that means for people that might not know?
Yeah, so the transfer portal is a NCAA athlete who is currently at a school, whether it's Division III or Division I, can put their name into the transfer portal, showing other universities that they want to leave the university they are at.
Okay.
And look for a new university to play for and attend the next year.
Can their current school see them in the portal?
Yes. They have to they have to submit the form, and the head coach has to sign that form and is not allowed to not sign that form. So every single time a kid enters it, the new coach is notified. Mm-hmm. So you're burning your bridge.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done. And it was either because the kid wants to leave or the staff told him you need to leave because you're never going to play here. So enter the portal and see what else is out there for you.
Is it ever, before you continue, is it ever like there's a bigger, better school saying, hey, if you enter the portal, we'll take you?
You're allowed to contact them?
No.
Oh, okay.
It is a NCAA violation if you contact a player that is currently at an NCAA institution.
Not in the portal.
Not in the portal.
Got it.
So all you can see in the portal is they put so we would refresh every morning, the names would pop up, and all there is in there is an email. So we just would send a blanket email to every single kid in the portal every morning. Hey, we're at the University of Alaskan Anchorage. We're just coming back, and like give them our spiel.
Yeah,
and then we're like, well, we'll see who returns the email. You see what's coming back at us. And the thing is, it's like every other school in college hockey is doing the same thing. Yep. So we understand where we're at on the pecking order, like the very bottom, because we didn't have a team the previous 2 years.
Yep.
We don't have a conference. We're in Alaska. We don't have a rink, like all these things that are against us. And so we just kind of waited, and the kids that responded back were we're incredibly grateful, and we're happy that they kind of bought into what our vision is here and the challenges that we have. And every kid that was here, we were very honest with, is here's all the challenges, and are you willing to man up, right? Yeah. Are you willing to go to any team in the country and say, yeah, like you might kick our ass, but you're not going to do it without a fight. Like we're going to get right back up and punch you in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's basically what we did this past weekend against Northern Michigan. Like we went in there, they're, pretty popular team, and they kicked our ass Friday night. And it was an opportunity as a coach at that level to say, guys, there's not many times in life where your manhood gets challenged and you get to respond.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't happen very often. It doesn't happen very often once you leave the game of hockey. Like it doesn't happen professionally very often. As a dad, as just a normal guy out of the game. So like take advantage of the fucking opportunity when you get punched in the mouth and respond. And get up and send a message. And our ragtag bunch of kids like showed up and fucking did it. Like we lost 9-1 Friday night. That's an ass kicking in hockey.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a lot of goals.
That's like
brutal.
70-0 in football.
Yeah. No, it's
so,
just getting ran up.
And the game wasn't that bad. So like I said we're no fucking pregame skate Saturday. Like we went to the locker room and I put the game on and we watched the whole game beginning to end.
Ooh.
And I go, guys, this isn't gonna be me lying into anybody. This is so this fucking never happens ever again.
Yeah, you weren't going like X's and O's
No.
and like this is what failed and yeah.
And I'm like, guys, like the score is what it is, but like it wasn't a 9-1 hockey game.
Were they battling?
Oh yeah.
I mean, they fought all the way through.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Just couldn't stop
the score
anything.
was irrelevant, but like
Yeah.
to everybody else
luck.
on the outside world, it was like you guys got embarrassed. Like I knew it again. Like you guys, but whatever. And so it was just like a real calm, like challenging them to step up to the plate and to see what we're made of, and like they loved it. Like they loved that challenge, and they did it. Like it was the second time this year that you shocked the college hockey world. The first time was our home opener against Western Michigan, who was the number 14 team in the country at the time, coming up here thinking that we were just going to get pounded.
Yeah,
by
just
them.
roll you guys. Yeah.
And we beat them 3-1 the home opener, and that was probably that will go down this year as the biggest upset in college hockey season this year, like bar none.
Wow!
Like as an expansion college hockey
top 25 D1 ranked school
to an expansion college hockey team.
Yeah, bottom of the barrel, pretty much, right?
Yes. Yeah, like we're not like. There's been 2 or 3 teams that came online the last 2 or 3 years, and they've either won 1 game or 0 games of NCAA Division I hockey. And we've already won 2 against 2 teams that are perennial top 25 teams. So we've already massively exceeded expectations this year. But it all goes back to the fact that we were able to get 5 grad transfers who guys have already played 4 years of college hockey that are a leadership group. And when we approach those guys, like, they're 25, 26 years old. Like, they're grown-ass men.
Yeah.
Like, they have no business still playing college hockey. And I'm like, and they're like, they look like grown-ass men.
Yeah. Catch him at F Street.
Yeah.
Dude's got a little gray in his beard and shit. Like, whoa.
I'm like, when I was your age, I had a kid, and
Yeah.
so like,
Job.
those guys have done an incredible job of taking over the locker room and being kind of an extension of the coaching staff and really making sure that they leave their mark on a program. And that's what we challenge them with is you have an amazing, unique opportunity that doesn't come along very often in college sports and college hockey, is you get to establish traditions and culture from day one of a brand new team.
Yeah.
Like we have 40 years of history, but the guys that are in our locker room right now they're writing the story. They have the pen in their hand and they're getting to write a brand new story that's theirs forever. And so it's one of those moments where Like that, I'm so happy for that leadership group. Like the way that they responded Saturday night was all on those guys. And it was just, and that's like, as a coach, like that's why you coach, is because you were able to convince a group of men that they're able to do something that's not really possible. And then you were able to convince a group of men within that group to lead them and convince them that we can do this.
Yeah.
And that's like the only, like, the shit you get off on in coaching is those moments.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we beat a team 8-zip. Like, yeah, this is cool. Like, it's doing the unthinkable and just having kids believe that they can do things, because that's what's going to carry them into life after hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
for the rest of their life.
How do you deal with adversity?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I went to Alaska. My grad transfer, like those guys that are leadership group, like they can go on forever. And like I went to Alaska, did something I never thought I would do. I went and played college hockey, and we did this, and this. And I led those group of men, and like those guys are going to take this year with them and do amazing things with it.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, what is it like as a coach in your, do you wear suits still?
Yeah.
Sweet. When you're doing your thing.
I had a sweet suit for game 1 too, that big upset.
Yeah.
Oh, nice,
right.
dude.
What was
just
it?
like, I noticed that other coaches are going against like suits in other sports. They're wearing
quarter
like,
zips and
I'm like, oh no, they're going against that like traditional like formal.
Yeah.
But the college coach has still got a suit and tie.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys. Like UConn's whole staff's wearing quarter zips now. It kind of pisses me off.
Yeah.
So
what were you saying, Jack, earlier?
I was asking what the suit
dude,
was.
so
okay,
it's a good story. So like I had a couple good suits, and I'm like, what am I gonna wear for the fucking home opener? Like, what am I gonna do?
I pull out the best one, right?
So
Dumb and
I walk into Stallone's. Right, Stallone's is
Oh, yeah.
we have like 2 suit shops in this town.
Yeah.
Really, Stallone's is like the only one.
Stallone's and Men's Warehouse out on Diamond.
Yeah.
Stallone's like old school, has shit from the 80s and 90s, like sweaters.
They're not going to get
You
rid
can
of
still
them.
get the elbow patch on the
get 'em.
They're not getting rid of
Get all tailored up.
So I walk in, I'm like, I talk to the guy, I'm like, I need like a game 1 of a brand new program suit. And he's looking at me like, what the hell does that mean? I'm like, just something's got to happen. Like, something's just got to jump out at you. And so I'm walking through everything. I'm like, oh, shit, there's nothing in here. And then I'm walking out, and there's like, corner of my eye, I see this green, like Seawolf green.
No.
Seawolf green double-breasted suit.
Yes.
I look at it.
How did I miss this?
I'm like, what? And like, I look at the tag on it. I'm thinking this thing's going to be a fortune. And it's like on sale for $199.
This is in the budget, baby.
It's in the budget. It's like so I'm just like, so I look at the guy and I'm like, I got to try this. I got to try it on. Like, what size is it? And it fucking fit like a glove.
Oh, wow. Just
Dude,
meant
it
to
was
be.
so meant to be. So I get the,
That suit was waiting for you.
Seawolf put it there.
Dude, the pants were a little big. I'm like, I got a game in 4 days. Hem the shit out of this thing. Let's like just the pants. The coat was fucking money.
Yeah.
And so like I go home and I go pick it up and I get there and I show up at the game. Like I've never owned or never thought I'd own a double-breasted suit. Like I look like I'm on like I don't even know what. Like I'm about to go.
Came full Guido into the locker room.
So I'm just, I bring it over and the guys are looking at me and then they just like get all amped because of how pimp this suit was. It was so funny.
He's
Coach,
showing
where'd
up
you
like
find
that.
that
We're going for
thing?
the win.
That's it, man.
So we go out, we do what we did. We won that game. I haven't put that suit on since. Like that thing's going in a shadow box.
As I say, it needs to go in like a like, you know how Batman puts his
Hang it
suit
up in the rafters.
in the clear case and it just like rises out of the floor. Like, this is that suit I wore that one time.
That's right.
Well, what I was gonna say originally, my question was like, in that moment in those games, as the leader and the coach of the team, watching those other leaders within having those conversations in the game, like that has to be like probably one of the coolest defining moments, right? Like what they're saying and their energy and their attitude and their whether it's, positive or beating a guy up for doing something real quick and then picking him back up again.
So it's like you kind of know, like you can feel it.
Yeah.
Like as a coach, you can feel it when you're like, oh shit, these guys got it.
Yeah. Internally it's happening without you having to say too much more.
Like I'm good. Like I did what I needed to do. I pushed the right buttons. Yeah. And now the leaders have taken over. Like that's how you win hockey games. That's how you win games at any sport. Man. Like at whether it's football or whatever it may be, is like you work and practice as a coach, and you have your leaders in there doing what they do. But when you get into the games, like it's all them. Yeah. Like you could have put.
They're the ones that got to play.
You could put 3 blind people on the bench, and we're winning Saturday night.
Yeah.
yeah. Right.
Because of those guys.
Yeah. Yep.
Because like you're like after the first 5 minutes, and those guys are just like doing this, and like we're playing Seawolf hockey and this and that, and that's what they're saying, and I'm just like, all right, fuck, we might win this one tonight.
Yeah.
Like we got a chance.
Yeah.
But when they're silent. And they're not like doing that, like we don't stand a chance. Like we don't have no chance.
Yep. Energy's not there. The mentality's not there.
Yeah, the only way we're winning hockey games the first year of our program it has to be on pure emotion.
Yeah.
And like there's been moments this year where that's missing, and it's just like there's no way.
Yeah. But it's reared its head up a couple times, so it's in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like you have those moments of accountability and those moments of like, okay, it's here. Like now, are you guys going to make sure it doesn't ever leave?
Yeah.
We're not good enough to like have it always be there.
That's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Like when we won that first game against Western Michigan the first night, it was like we gave every ounce of
high.
Anything.
Yeah.
What a high. So we come out, it was a Saturday night game. So we come out Sunday, and I'm like, we're going to probably lose by like 6, and it might be embarrassing at home, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was 1-1 going in the third again because our guys were still like, it still has some carryover. We hit the third period. I have never seen wheels fall off like they did in that third period. Like, they had nothing left.
Oh, that was
nothing left. And I looked at my 2 assistant coaches after the first shift. I go, there's nothing left. The tank's empty. Yeah. And it wasn't their fault.
Yeah.
Like it was what it was, but it was just one of those moments where you're like, you guys gave us everything you could. We beat, and for 2 periods we're tied with this program, and it was kind of funny to watch the wheels fell off the way that they did.
And there's no control of it.
No control.
It's like these guys that's it.
Yeah, there's nothing left.
Well, it reminds me of like if you ever watch like an NCAA basketball tournament where there's like a Cinderella.
Mm-hmm.
I vividly remember it was like George Washington University, and they played Florida. When they had like Joakim Noah and a list of like 4 or 5 NBA players, and they made it to the finals game, and it was like they had expended so much energy emotionally, physically. They had no business being there with that Florida basketball team full of NBA players. But when they got to the championship game, it was just like you can harness it for so long, but you're human, man. You're not a robot.
Yeah.
You're not a machine. You run out.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you see that a lot in like that kind of a game where they just like the emotion and the energy, like they can just like will their way to win games that they shouldn't. But then at some point,
runs
like
out.
The law of physics just take over, and this like better, more talented, deeper, all of a sudden like they throw the third line or bench out there, and it's like all of a sudden they're scoring on you, and you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah,
it's like
you mentioned that UAA doesn't have a conference and that they're an expansion team.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean, and what does it take in order to like get into it? Because I remember growing up, they were part of the WCHA. I want to say. How does that work?
So what took place was, yes, they were part of the WCHA. Mid-90s, they switched over to the WCHA.
From independent, right?
From an independent.
Yeah.
So as an independent, you just got to make up your own schedule, and you're playing different teams every year, and go into that a little bit more in a minute. But 3 years ago, the WCHA announced that 7 of the members wanted to leave that conference and start the CCHA. And they were leaving behind the 2 Alaska schools in Alabama, Huntsville.
Okay.
And so there were 7 members left over. So they started the CCHA. They added a new program called St. Thomas, which is based in Minneapolis. And they just added a 9th member who will be starting next year, Augustana, who's based out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So now those previous 7 members of the WCHA are now the CCHA. When I played in the WCHA, it was Minnesota Gophers, North Dakota, Denver, CC, Minnesota Duluth, and a bunch of other schools. Now all of those schools, they left the previous WCHA before, and they went and started the NCHC and Big Ten. So now there's Big Ten in hockey.
Okay.
So the WCHA was left with a lot of regional Division II colleges that have Division I hockey, like Bowling Green in Northern Michigan and Lake Superior State and Ferris State. There's small schools that don't have big budgets, but they have Division I hockey. And flying to Alaska and having Alaska be a part of their Midwest conference didn't make sense. And so they left for financial reasons, and they left for travel reasons, and a lot of other different things. So now it left us, the 2 Alaska schools, and Alabama Huntsville's gone dormant, and they're gone, with no conference to play in. And so now we're back to being independent like we were for the first 16 years of existence.
Wow.
And so when I got the job, we had 0 games scheduled, and that was in November, and we needed to have a schedule for the following October. So I had to basically spam email every team in college hockey, like, do you have any games available? Because there's only 34, and 24 of them are taken up through conference play. Mm-hmm. So each team only has 10 non-conference games or 8 non-conference games, some conferences, to go and play other teams. And they build schedules 2 years in advance. So I had to basically pick up every available team that had 2 games over a strategically planned season to build a schedule. But as an independent now, we don't have a conference, so you're not playing for points or playing for positioning. Mm-hmm. So that's tough. Mentally, that's tough on a group of kids and a team not playing for something.
Right.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, there's a postseason tournament. So now you're playing them for a seeding, and then that seeding then allows you to play and potentially win a conference tournament. So that's a big issue with all the independents. Now there's 6 independents in college hockey. There's the 2 Alaska schools. There's Arizona State. There's Lindenwood, who's based out of St. Louis. They're brand new this year. There's Long Island University. And there's a new team that's called Stonehill, which is in Massachusetts somewhere. So now we have a big group of independents that are creating schedules, 34 games of all exhibition games. And so, which is a good thing, I think, for the Alaska schools in a way. So the conversation now we're having is, do we want to start a new conference?
With those teams?
With the 6 independents, mm-hmm. Which then leads to a potential automatic bid to the NCAA tournament if you win your conference, but that takes in year 3, so it takes 2 years of being in conference, and then year 3, if you win it, you go to NCAA tournament automatic bid. And then you also have your standings and this and that. But the problem is that there's Alaska, there's a St. Louis, Arizona State, and then there's 2 teams in
geography.
Yeah,
geography.
East Coast.
Yeah.
So now your budgets are blown. A lot of those schools don't, Arizona State has an unlimited budget.
Yeah.
Lindenwood's brand new, their budget isn't big. And the 2 East Coast schools, they just want to buzz around the East Coast and play.
There's hockey everywhere.
They can bust.
Hockey everywhere. Bust, mm-hmm. Yeah. So now that conference doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal is that there's enough schools in the East that they can start theirs, and then maybe there's a conference realignment because a lot of the new conferences that were made broke up a lot of the historic rivalries that existed in college hockey.
Yep.
And people don't like that.
No.
Not
Like-
at all. Don't
like-
mess with tradition, man.
Gophers fans don't like not playing North Dakota every year in Denver and Minnesota Duluth, because Gophers are in Big Ten now. They play Michigan State and Michigan and
Iowa
Ohio
and-
State.
That seems so wrong.
Like none of those fans give a shit when they play those teams. They want to be playing Duluth and North Dakota and
Wichita
St. Cloud.
Yep.
Yeah, all those people around them.
Yeah, so they want to historical regional rivalries. So there's a lot of talk going on about a new conference like a big conference realignment of. But the only problem is we're in Alaska, right?
Yeah.
Like you're never going to be regionally make sense for anybody. So, but the good thing is about being an independent and being a new team is I get to design a college schedule of opponents that are appropriate for our level, that are big names, that are fun for our guys to go play, and then are
The Central Michigans.
or that are teams that are like a good college, like adds to the college experience for our guys, right? So it's about the whole package of what can we offer our guys. Like, so this year we're going everywhere from Air Force to Arizona State to Northern Michigan to Maine to Boston to New York.
Yeah.
So our guys are going to see parts of the world that they never were going to as guys that are from Saskatchewan and Alberta and all these places. Like they're going to have an amazing life experience.
Yeah.
And then next year as an independent, we get to play a whole bunch of new teams. Like we'll go play Wisconsin and we'll go play, Penn State and go. Like we're going to go play Penn State Thursday, Friday, and we're going to go to a Penn State football game on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like you want to, as an independent, you can create a schedule that's just awesome experiences
Sure.
on top of the hockey.
But it seems like you're still playing some big schools. I mean, Northern
Yeah,
Michigan,
huge.
Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Northern
Massachusetts,
Michigan, not
Lowell
Central.
there.
So like next year, I've built a schedule that is probably a top 10 schedule in college hockey. And we haven't announced it yet, but I would put it up against anybody in college hockey how good our schedule is. Even this year, being a brand new team and having the short window that we had, I feel like we put in 26 games that are incredible opponents and great opposing buildings and great experience. And so I'm really happy with our schedule this year, with such a short window that we had to build it. But our schedule next year is already done, and it's amazing.
Awesome.
Like I can go out on the recruiting trail and tell these kids of the teams that we're playing.
This is
and
where we're going, yeah.
they're like, oh shit, like that's way better than like playing for the Atlantic Conference.
Yeah.
Who they play a bunch of shitty little towns in New York.
Cupcake teams and just
Well,
blow them out.
in the players' eyes, you're going to these big schools to play these big schools, these big name teams, and there's people watching. There's going to be a big crowd there. There's going to be recruits. There's going to be people looking. So it's more eyes on them. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we're happy. We're happy with being an independent. Obviously, the two biggest holes that we have are a conference and a rink for our program right now.
Right.
Those are the two biggest pieces we don't have. And so it's going to be slow, but it's, when Brush started the team in 79, like he didn't become part of a conference till like the mid 90s. And
Took a while.
It takes time to build.
Isn't it the only time we made the tournament
Yep.
was when we were
As an
independent, right?
independent.
Like 3
Yep.
times.
Yeah,
So,
so
it's like gives you a shot that
90,
way.
91, 91, 92, they made the NCAA tournament as an independent. So, and Arizona State's been around. This is their 7th year when they switched from a club to Division I team. They've made the NCAA tournament twice also.
Oh, they have?
Just based on strength of schedule, yeah.
That was kind of interesting to me. My brother went to Arizona State and he played club hockey there a little bit. And then, then the program got really, really good. And then they became, D1 school. But, I mean, that's Pac-10. What's going on with these other Pac-10 schools? It seems like that's a perfect kind of spot to start like a Western Conference.
Oh, it'd be incredible. Like if UCLA and
Washington,
USC,
Washington State, Oregon.
all
Oregon.
Pac-10 schools.
Is there any talk that they're thinking about
No,
hockey or?
They all have club teams. They're, you add a men's team, then you need to add a women's team. So there's a lot to just saying we're just going to add men's Division I hockey.
Right.
But I have had conversations with like the Oregon Ducks. Mm-hmm. I'm like, and the Kraken are going to help.
Yeah.
Because they want to see hockey grow in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, in that corner of the country, yeah.
So if they can add a Washington or an Oregon or those schools that have
maybe
basically unlimited athletic budgets,
yeah,
they wouldn't bat an eye at it. So those are consistent conversations we're having. But everybody you talk to in the hockey world is like, man, if the Pac-10 had hockey, it'd be the best conference in hockey overnight.
Yeah. Have they talked to any at all about adjusting Title IX or?
No, it's
kind of set in stone. It's a pretty
set in stone thing. Like for us up here, when they announced they were going to cut hockey, they had to also cut women's gymnastics,
right?
Because that was our sister sport,
right?
Mm-hmm. So we actually saved the hockey program first, and we announced that they had saved it. However, the gymnastics program didn't raise their money yet, and so like we were still in like. Not sure.
Yeah.
Even though they announced publicly, like, oh shit, gymnastics better finish this off, or else this is going to be a big egg in our face of not coming back after we raise the money because there's gymnastics didn't pull it. I'm like, well, can we add like a women's badminton team or something?
Or women's hockey?
Women's hockey would be awesome too. Even if we could, and I've talked to a lot of people too about there's so many female hockey players in Alaska. Like maybe we just do a club team.
Yeah.
Like there's some great female hockey players.
They'd be all over it.
Does club count towards Title IX or no?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Title IX, for people that don't know, is where you have to have an adjacent women and men's team.
An equal number
of scholarships, right? Is it amount of players or is it scholarships?
I think it's just. I don't think it's individual athletes. It's just teams.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that like San Jose, like the Sharks, the Kings, the Ducks, all those teams got to be affiliated with some schools around there. Why don't
it's crazy.
Hockey's huge in California.
Huge. Like Northern California has the largest adult men's hockey population of anywhere in the country.
Really?
Exists in San Jose.
Holy
Northern
cow.
California. It's the largest one in all of USA Hockey exists in Northern California.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you think about like Utah, Nevada. I mean, there's hockey in all those states, and it's all prevalent.
Utah's a bit in the works. They kind of came out with a list of like 8 teams, 8 colleges that might be next.
Yeah.
In Utah, UNLV, who we played.
Yep. Vegas,
Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
It would have a built-in in-state rivalry. So.
Oh yeah, ASU. There's Arizona.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So and they have a huge club following there too.
Yeah.
So there's a couple in California and maybe Reno. There's a couple other spots too. So.
Well, it's just amazing to me as I was doing the research and just looking at the history of UAA hockey and some of the names that have come out of there and gone on to play in the NHL. I'm just going to name a few here. I mean, we got Justin Johnson, obviously, Bogovic, Beagle, Donald, Sorensen, Glenn Cross, Kowal, Kraft. Oh, no, those are legends. Hold on. The NHL, Johnson, Batters, Namenko, Westcott, Beagle, I said, Peluso, Glenn Cross. Mm-hmm. I mean, Beagle's, he's still playing, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually is. I think he's with Phoenix, I want to say.
Yeah.
Or somewhere in there.
What do you think it is that catapults those players?
He doesn't play for the Knights?
No,
I don't think so.
He was Washington, then he was Vancouver, and then I think they dished him off.
And some of them are only like a year or whatever, or a game or two, whatever. But they still made it there. And so I'm curious at what is it that like kind of pushes them just past the edge, where there's been a lot of great players that came out of UAA, but what pushes them slightly above, in order to just get that attraction from an NHL team?
Yeah, I mean they fit a certain
role,
skill
maybe
set and role.
Okay,
like Peluso came out of here, big guy, strong. kind of just worked his way into that Legion of Doom line and put up 300 penalty minutes a year and, kept his role and earned his spot in the lineup being a tough guy.
Yeah.
Glenn Cross showed up here my senior year, his freshman year, and could just had a unique knack for scoring. I had a big sophomore year, signed with the Ducks after his sophomore year, and just continued the trend of putting the puck in the back of the net, something that's hard to find. Mm-hmm. And he went on for an amazing career and finished in Calgary and was one of the captains for Calgary, and is maybe had the best NHL career of any former Seawolf. And then guys like Justin Johnson, who just grinded forever in the minors and then was just a character guy that teams loved having in the locker room and loved, had a unique leadership position within the room and just kind of mentored people and fought guys at the right time and just did whatever he could for the team. And that goes a long way. And that got him his shot, his game or two, his kind of ascension to the NHL and, knocked out John Scott, and the rest is history, right? So,
yeah. Totally.
But
check that out on YouTube.
So those guys, you fill a certain niche for a team, and whether you're a big, strong defenseman or you're a goal scorer, you're a fighter, or whatever it is, or like Nemenko, who signed after his freshman year with the Ducks, NHL is all about having guys in specialty roles. And if you fill that role better than there's only a certain amount of guys that fit these certain roles, whether it's a first line, second line, third line, fourth line. It's very specific at that level. And if you can do that better than anybody else, be a fourth line winger that does those things better than anybody else, then you have that chance. So, or if you punch people in the face better than anybody else,
yeah, that works too.
You move up just as well,
or just like intimidating. You know what I mean? There's you're right. Hockey is maybe. Maybe basketball might have that a little, where like it has a unique like niche spot for a guy.
Specialized,
right? Like football is like the position, and like you have to have a skill set to guard or tackle or DN, edge rusher, quarterback, running back, catch balls. Be a great defender, but you can't catch. Hockey has this like lane for you.
Yes,
like this 100%. Is what you specialize in. It's not going to be first line. It's going to be third or fourth. Mm-hmm. But we need you on this penalty kill. We need you on this whatever it is, man. And that's like what you're paid to do that one thing. Or a goon squad type guy, right? Like,
and that's
sport's so unique in that way. Like it has a spot for guys that maybe the fundamentals and the skills are just never there.
Yes.
But they can impact the game in a different way, right?
Intangibles.
Yeah. There it is.
So, and that's what it's kind of been fun is getting in coaching where you're looking for that stuff now. Like we're looking now 8 games into our season for specific people that have things we don't have. Like we need this for next year. Yep. We need this for next year. And so now we go out and we look for specific guys that fulfill those needs. That last year when we had 0 players, I'm like, I just need guys.
I need to fill a roster.
The balance might be out.
You want to come? Let's go.
Like we're just going to hit the ice and see what happens.
Yeah. So now I'm like, oh, shit, we need this, and this. Can we please go try and find it?
Yeah.
So that's the assistant coach's job is to grind it out on the road and go find those guys.
Yeah. What is it like in today's like hockey coaching, scouting, research world as far as like tape and like documentation on players? It's got to be pretty good now, right? Like,
I think we are going to once like word really gets out that we built a college hockey team on $6,000. Like it blows people's minds. And how we did we did that
uniforms.
No, I'm saying just recruiting. So so I had a $70,000 recruiting budget, which means what it includes is assistant coach buys an airplane ticket, hotel, food for 10 days on the road. That's going to cost us $5,000, like easy.
Yeah,
right.
The Holiday Inn, some top ramen, or what?
And you do that just to go find one guy.
Yeah.
Like you're going to spend $5,000 to go find one guy for a week-long trip. We went from 0 to 26 hockey players, and we only spent $6,000 the whole year. And how we did that is all fucking video. The entire team, outside of like a couple guys that we went out and saw and went face-to-face with, the entire team was built on video and online formats like this company called InStat. This company on InStat, every single junior hockey game and college hockey game that gets played gets sent to InStat, and InStat has an algorithm or some crazy technology stuff that breaks down every single guy that played in that game's shifts.
Wow.
Immediately. That game ends, I'll log into InStat, and I'll go up, and I can type in a kid's name that played in that game, and hit every single shift that kid played in has been cut already.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
So you tell me to go watch John Smith on this team in Alberta. He's a good defenseman. I go to InStat, I type in John Smith. I can watch 10 of his hockey games in 45 minutes. Every single shift the kid played in 45 minutes.
It just continuously plays, and you just sit back.
The kid's whole game. Just shift. So then I can be like, nope, that guy sucks. We're moving on. And so we were able to build a team. And so all the college guys, we couldn't go see play because they had finished playing their seasons already, and they entered the portal. And then we're like, all right, we're at the mercy of who says yes. And then we'll go. The kid emailed us back like, oh, shit, he emailed us back. Let's go watch him on InStat. Let's go watch all his old video. And they're like, oh, yeah, this kid's pretty good. Like, let's keep talking to him. And then it was just, again, it was all video.
So cut back. How the fuck did you learn how to do that? Because you went from being, a local coach to college coach overnight.
So that's where my two assistant coaches come into play. So these are two guys that spent a significant amount of time in junior hockey already. And that was just a part of their world. It wasn't part of my world.
Yeah.
I wasn't sitting around watching video clips on guys or this and that, but I was lucky enough to find a guy, his name's Kevin Murdock, who is the Rain Man of hockey players. You can name any kid who's played hockey that's 25 years old to 18 years old, any kid that has in North America, and he will rattle off his last 5 years of hockey.
Whoa.
It blows your fucking mind. And he goes, give me another one. Give me another one. And I'm like, I'll scroll through a team and I'll find a kid and I'll be like super random name. Kid doesn't even play that much for some random junior team. And he'll be like, like this year he played this year, he played this year. And it's like, he didn't even give me his stats. Wow. And I'm like, this blows me.
How'd you find that guy?
He coached the Kenai River Brown Bears.
Okay.
He was their head coach for a couple of years, and he brought that team, went from like the laughingstock of the North American League to a playoff team within 2 years. He had moved on to go coach down in the same league in North Iowa.
Yeah.
And when I got the job, I'm like, he's already lived in Alaska. He's, I had nothing but great things about him. And so I called him up. Like, he had only left for like 6 months. Yeah. Because he Brown Bears and left. I'm like, you want to come back to Alaska and coach college hockey? He's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, and I didn't know like what a genius he was on just knowing hockey players.
Yeah.
And so when I discovered that, I'm like, all right, that box is checked.
Yeah, perfect. I actually remember an article coming out in the paper about when you got him, and you said something like you found a gold mine or something like that.
Like it was crazy. I went from knowing nobody, to bringing somebody on that knew every kid.
Awesome.
So I'm like, who do we need to go look for? And then he would just be like, this kid. And I'm like, all right, sweet. I'll go watch some video on him, and we'll go from there. And then my other assistant coach had coached 11 years in Fairbanks for the Ice Dogs. And he had won multiple championships. I'm like, that's my guy. That's going to be like my sounding board of coaching kids at this level and just doing nothing but winning his whole career. Mm-hmm. And so he knows how to win at this level with these kids and how to relate. And every kid that played for him loved him. And my kid was actually playing for him last year.
Okay.
Oh.
So I stole my kid's head coach halfway through the season.
How do you feel about that?
Pissed off.
Yeah.
Because, like, Stewie's such a good guy and such a good coach. Like, he left and the team just fell apart.
Oh, no.
And, like, that was all me. Like,
Yeah. You have to take full responsibility for that.
I eat that. That's a tough pill for me to swallow. That was a selfish move by me. Like, I should have probably let him finish the season and this and that, but
Seems like a good way to really like help that Fairbanks Anchorage rivalry.
oh yeah, it was huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to heat that up.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of fun for me because my kid playing for the Ice Dogs last year came down here. Like the first weekend they were down here, I was actually down at the Seattle Kraken game, dropping the puck at center ice.
Oh, what?
So,
Oh yeah,
I was the first person to ever ceremonially drop a puck at a Seattle Kraken hockey game.
Oh, that's rad.
Oh, shit.
How mind blowing is that?
man, that's a good vibe out there, man.
hell,
Yeah.
man?
Have you been to a game?
No, I haven't. I want to.
Oh,
Those
it's
games are
awesome.
awesome.
It's great. It's where the arena's at,
Yes.
the vibe in there.
In downtown. Yeah.
Yeah, everything is so
Underneath the
cool, man.
Space Needle.
It's just a beautiful, beautiful place.
So-
I mean, they're not the greatest team, but it's so much fun to just go in there and watch them, and they're trying their best, and you know they got just music and
They're
the
doing it
lights,
right.
and they're doing it right.
Yeah.
man.
It's pro sport.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
It's
like
awesome.
clubby, right? Like,
So
Yeah.
you go
Yeah.
to like Vegas is you went to a techno concert and a hockey game broke out.
yeah. I will say, I think Vegas is really they got a good thing going over there. That vibe of that arena, and then you walk out and you're just in the casino.
Yeah. Like I'm in New York playing blackjack, and I'm at a hockey game, and now I'm back playing blackjack again.
here we go.
It could go bad or good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Kraken really supported.
So that's where it came from, right? So the Kraken came in at the end. Todd Lewicki, who's the CEO, kind of the operating officer of the president of the Kraken, he gave like $50,000 of his own personal money, and
Oh, wow.
they did a really huge promotion of getting us to the end. And so when it came to it, is they wanted to celebrate that relationship, and the Kraken want to make sure they have a solid foothold on our fan base here, and so they brought in everybody that had to do with the Save the Seawolf campaign, all the major donors and businesses, and they brought us in, just treated us like gold. We went to their brand new 3-sheet facility they built. The first 3 sheets that are in the city of Seattle, they just built it. Like the city of Seattle didn't have a sheet of ice until the Kraken came in and put those 3 sheets in. So they gave us a tour of that. They threw us a big dinner, and the following night we had the game. And they showed something on the Jumbotron of the fact that our program's back, and then they had myself dropping the puck at center ice, and it was just like, is this really happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I'm like, I was a school teacher a month ago.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Who did the Kraken play?
Colorado, and Colorado just pumped them.
Oh, I bet,
So-
because that was the year before the was that? What?
No, they
No,
just
that
won
was
last year.
the
Yeah.
Stanley Cup
Yeah.
season.
So we sat in the owner's booth,
No.
the center ice, like amazing experience owner's booth. And Lewicki was just losing his mind because it was 9 minutes left in the second period. It was a 7-0 hockey game, like pounding.
Yeah.
And it was embarrassing for him and their organization. And you don't, at that level, never should that be happening.
Yeah.
And so,
Still professional hockey.
and like the owner's losing his mind because like he doesn't ever want to lose and just getting like, you're
Destroyed.
like, should we leave? Like, this is awkward.
Can I crack open another beer? Is that okay?
Well, it can't
for
be
the
as
trip.
awkward as like what happened in Arizona, and they got to play at ASU, right? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, they just did put something on social media interviewing all the Coyotes. Like, hey, your first games in the Mullet Arena are this week. Like, what do you think of that? Playing in front of 5,000 people, and they're just spewing BS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I personally think, because I've been to some Coyote games, and it's always more people for the. I went to a Blackhawks game, and it's a sea of red. I went to Rangers games, it's a sea of blue. And I think now, if they play at ASU, they're going to have a student section And they might have actually however many people fit in there, 5,000-6,000 people of actual Coyote fans, or at least Arizona fans.
I hope they're walking around ASU's campus like handing kids $100 bills to show up and just be rowdy.
Yeah, just make some noise.
Here's a jersey, and here's $100 if you show up at our next game and just be a jackass the whole game. Because there needs to be something that's special about that place for the Coyotes, or it's just going to be embarrassing for 3 to 4 years that they don't have a rink.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if there's games where there's only 3,000 people in that place?
In an
NHL game.
Yeah,
that's crazy to think.
But it's a sweet little rink.
Dollars that go into it.
Arizona State opened up against Colgate 2 weeks ago, and they had a great showing. It was a great environment, and they did show pictures today of like setting up temporary athletic training rooms for the NHL, and like it just looked, because the NHL, when they came in, they're having to add a whole bunch on to make it NHL worthy.
Yeah.
And so none of that's going to be done till December. All the opposing team facilities and a bunch of other stuff. And so it's really shoddy right now. But yeah, I hope they sell out. I hope, Coyotes are terrible.
Yeah.
So,
but it makes up if they have a rowdy bunch of college kids and people in there, like at least
it makes it a
going crazy.
Unique kind of a weird.
That was such a pain
arena.
in the ass getting out to Glendale to go watch a game, though.
It wasn't. There's nothing out there. It's just like in the middle of nowhere.
Well, the traffic goes in one way and out one way. Yeah, because that's kind of like that's where the Cardinals play.
Yeah, they're right there.
Yeah, it's like out in the middle of what the hell? Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard a story that you were going to make the USA hockey team, but something happened.
Yeah, so NTDP, the National Team Development Program, is the epitome of 17, 18-year-olds. Like, that's the best team in the country. They scour the entire country to fill those teams, but had never been done before. So when I went to Select 17 camp in Ann Arbor, Michigan, they were building this team for the very first time. And
what year is this?
97.
Okay.
Yeah, 96. It was 1990, summer of 96. And so there was kids they had picked throughout the year that they targeted to be a part of this team, to build the team. And then they still had a bunch of spots open. Going into the summer camp in June, the Select 17 camp in Ann Arbor, where all the best kids in the country are there participating in it. And I had already been protected by the Lincoln Stars of the USHL. And so all the kids that were already kind of protected, because the USA team had first dibs on all the best kids in the country. And if you weren't picked by the select camp, you weren't supposed to steal kids that were targeted or already picked by USHL teams. Like maybe you could have a couple kids that weren't. But that wasn't the purpose of it. You wanted all the best kids on the team. So I went to Select 17 camp, had a great camp, and they pulled me in like, hey, we want you to be on the first ever national development team. And like, you're like, what? Like, we kind of don't even know what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just know, like, I'm a top 20 kid in the entire country. Like, this is mind blowing. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'm in. Like, why the hell wouldn't you? And so I'm like there. We stay an extra couple days. Like Nike comes in and a couple other gear companies, and we go to a hotel lobby, and there's just gear everywhere. And they're like, here's a piece of paper. Go pick out whatever you want.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh, what? Like, this isn't real. Like, none of this has happened ever in hockey up to this point. So we're walking around and picking out all my stuff. Like, I'm on Team USA, like Mighty Ducks or something.
Yeah.
And so I leave. I'm on the team. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And then I get a phone call from Lincoln and the USHL. They're like, we're not letting you do this. They weren't supposed to take you, and you need to honor your commitment to us and not play for Team USA. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I'm a 17-year-old kid. Like, these are adults fighting, like, over a kid. Like, you should probably just be telling me good luck. Like, this is the most unique thing that's ever happened in USA hockey. to build this team that's a year-long development team. And so weeks go on, and I'm getting like NHL general managers calling me saying, you need to play for Team USA. Like, we're going to draft you, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is the best thing you could ever do. And so I'm like, all right, sweet, I'm playing for Team USA. And then, like, I'm getting a phone call the next hour from Lincoln saying, you're not going to do this. You need to, hammer, just crush, like, back and forth fighting. And so finally, at the end of the day, I was so beaten down. I was just like, you know what? I want to be a man of my word. I'm going to go to Lincoln. I'm not going to go to USA because I'm just, for whatever dumbass reason, and my dad was like, I don't think I should let you make this decision. Like, you should probably, and so I'm like, no, I'm going to go to Lincoln.
Yeah.
And so that was it. Like, and then I had like Jeff Jackson, who's actually the head coach of Notre Dame now, and he was the head coach of that national development team when they first started. He looked at, like, he called me and goes, you will never put on a USA Hockey jersey ever because of this decision. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
oh, shit. All right. Well,
Yeah.
okay, here we go. But I went to Lincoln and honored my word and kind of went to, but like there's moments in time of a career where you wish you probably would have done something differently.
A fork in the road. It's like,
And
Yeah,
and if I could go back, so I actually had 3 buddies of mine played on the team, 3 Alaskans. I would have been the 4th Alaskan on that team.
wow.
How fucking crazy is that?
Who are the
How
other
many-
3?
Barrett Heiston, who ended up being an NHL first-round pick, Mike Lee,
Yep.
and Will Magnuson, who's the leading oncologist in town.
And what was the roster number total?
22 guys,
And 4 of them would have been Alaskans.
4 Alaskans.
Man, killer program.
Jesus Christ, dude.
That was our 1980 birth year that we had. We probably had 16 guys play Division I hockey from our team growing up. Like, if you get one now,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good group that we had. And
So it's
Yeah.
a little bit of a regret. I
Yes.
mean,
I will flat out say yes.
and I hope that's not a hard question. I just was just like,
Yeah.
now that you can like reflect back on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and there's not I don't know if there's another one. Like, I regret not playing for Team USA for the first year of the NTDP program.
And the way, how far it's come now,
Oh, yeah.
it's crazy. Like, they're right there. They're at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it's
and
big
to
time.
see that they made those leaps and bounds just in the last, whatever it is, 15 years.
Those guys that played on that team, they went through some shit. Like, that was the
Yeah.
first year they did it, and it was so unorganized. And they were playing major junior teams that they probably shouldn't have been, a bunch of 17-year-old kids. And all the Canadian teams hated a bunch of 17-year-old American,
Yeah, I
like,
bet.
special privileged boys that are wearing the USA jersey.
Yeah.
And they got the shit kicked out of them on a lot of nights. But,
They were probably a target, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was they were, and it was, I wish I could have been a part of that versus being a senior, playing in the USHL, not having much of a role on an older team because that team's all 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and you're a young kid you're just not playing very much. Like, it wasn't what you signed up for, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so, yeah, I definitely wish I could go back and change that decision.
Before we wrap it up, is there another? I know you had mentioned the ponytail game that stood out in your mind.
Oh, man.
Is there another
Ponytail tournament.
another one that where you were a part of, where you were playing, that stands out, that just was like epic for whatever reason?
Coaching or playing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, would that be bad if I said no? that was the pinnacle of
I mean, I think that's badass because it's just like it. It's like it's
what?
not a big deal, but it was in
One of
that Sunday afternoon, right?
Yeah, that's the thing about sports is it's about the moment versus like the
magnitude of the
whatever. Yeah, it's not about the level or it's not about the athletes involved. It's just about the moment. And so, like, when we won our first game against Western Michigan, like, it wasn't the national championship. It wasn't a game that's important to anyone else, but that was, like, the most meaningful hockey game that I've ever been a part of that we won. Just because it it was years of building up to that point. It was a program that had died and brought back to life, and so many people in this community, 1,500 people, gave their own personal dollar for that moment to happen. And then to be the coach of that moment was something that I would never trade for anything in the world.
Yeah.
Because that was Alaska, that was youth hockey, that was people that had experienced the Seawolves before, that was people that had watched 40 years of Seawolf hockey that gave $1,000 for that moment to happen. That game was something where I was in tears multiple times. I was in tears because of the kids that I saw in the crowd lined up along the glass. Like, I was in tears because of just overwhelmed with emotion, because it was literally my entire life of being a child going to camps, being a fan going to games, and then being a player for that university, and now the coach of that team, of the trials and tribulations that program went through to being back and winning its first game. Like, it was the most Disney moment.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't have written a better script. Like, if we had made a movie about the program, saving the program, and everything it took to get to that game, and then winning that game, the movie's over.
Yeah, that was the Super Bowl.
It was it.
Yeah.
It was it. Like, it's back.
It was all about the suit, dude.
Yeah, it's back, baby.
All about that
double-breasted
suit.
green suit.
That's right. That's right.
So,
Well, and I was thinking about something a few minutes ago when you were talking about, like, the ragtag bunch. And, like, the thing that comes to mind is, like, Bad News Bears. Is that, like, a good – like, the Bad News Bears is the baseball team, and just, like, you have no business being here. You have no business winning or you being competitive, yet you show up with your double-breasted suit and your crew of just die hard, die for the shit guys, like
it was
for each other, right? Like,
it's the best. Like, when we just beat Northern Michigan Saturday night, I went to center ice and you're shaking the opposing team's coach's hand.
Yeah,
and he just has this look in his eyes, like, fuck did that just happen? How did that just happen?
like, we're way better than you guys.
It was 9-1 last night.
Yeah.
Like he just had seen a ghost almost.
Yeah.
But it was like that's a fun thing to be a part of, being the underdog every night and chip on your shoulder and proving people wrong. And so one of the things that we did in our locker room as kind of a team thing is, the previous coach had, it's like this clear 18 by 24 piece of plexiglass. And he had this certain decal on it that was about, like, winning or whatever it was, and I just stripped it off and I just left it blank. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? And it's the first thing you see when you walk in our locker room. And I go, you know what we're going to do is I'm going to have somebody from our leadership group put a quote up there that represents the moment in time for our group. And so I had one of our guys put a quote up there before our season even started. And it's about working together and then coming together and then achieving together. And that was kind of the theme. And then the next guy came in and he put a quote up there that was something about achieving the things that nobody thinks are achievable as a group. And so, and that was before this, that was right before the first game, like the Monday before our game Friday. And so that was their theme, is let's do things that no one thinks is possible as a group. And so I thought that was perfect. Like, the first guy hit the nail on the head, and the second guy put it out there and said, this is what our theme's going to be. And when that game ended, it was, and then continuing on is, that was an incredible moment just to kind of see that. Yeah. And to achieve the Bad News Bears, achieve things that nobody thinks you can.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's kind of been a unique, that's not going to be allowed to be the theme moving forward.
No, but it's a unique, magical,
like,
moment and what you guys have together, your recipe for success is the team, the collective group of people all here for an outcome, which is to win or lose, whatever the hell the outcome is. You're on that bench together and you're gonna fucking do it, and you're gonna go all out, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's great.
I love it, man.
So,
my wife's killing me right now.
Yeah, no, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up. Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful for the future of UAA hockey. I am ecstatic for Matt and for just the community of Anchorage to have that back, because that was an integral part of my youth going to UAA hockey games. And I just feel like it's reopening a door for the community and for the kids that are playing hockey day in, day out, Saturdays, parents taking off weekends, to have something that is local in the university, so that it can grow not only hockey, but like for the community as a whole to like come together.
absolutely.
Yeah, we're missing that, man. We're missing that. Like I said earlier in the show, and Matt alluded to it too, like there's just a void. It's not like we can all fill space and time with like stuff to do, but there's nothing that like is really bringing the community together as a group and like all there for one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the whole taken for granted, like a local sport for entertainment. Like now that it's gone, man, it's like,
you didn't realize what you're missing.
No, I didn't, man. That's well said. I didn't. I just thought it was always around, man. And
I'd like to know and like really think about what we could do as a community to help, build this program, and then also help install more pride in it. It's like these guys wearing Chief jerseys, or Green Bay Flyers or whatever. They're not missing a football game. So, what are we doing to like talk about it? Let's I think if we bring all this, we keep that conversation going in our daily lives when we're at work. You're working on your car, you're making some cider, you're talking to another teacher at work. It's just like, how do UAA do this weekend? And start installing that conversation back in and grow it from like the roots up in the community to install that pride back into it. I know my kids still sing the UAA song, so it's like, let's sing it,
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, it goes hand in hand with what UA hockey's doing. I mean, it's starting back really from the bottom.
Yep.
So again, as a community, in terms of like a cultural impact, it's actually up to us.
Yeah. What can
the
we
folks
do
on the streets to like talk about it around the water cooler, talk about it in the office, in the shop, in the wherever, to be like, hey, man, me and the family went to a UAA game this weekend. Right. It was a fucking great time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you should come next weekend. You should come check it out, and then let it just spread out. And it'll take time, just like building this program, right?
Yep, absolutely.
It's going to take time, but it's going to be this community to embrace it. That along with the Wolverines. I mean, Alaskan hockey. We can talk about UAA, but it's Alaskan hockey and bringing it back.
Yep,
that's right.
Because in our core, like, values of like Alaska, I mean, especially right now with like this cultural shift and like this huge Alaska support shift, everything's local, support local, the experience of Alaska, everything, hockey's right there, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's really in our like, it's our DNA.
Yep.
I was just thinking about like Ghostbusters, and in the movie, what made the Ghostbusters cool was that everyone was talking about it. They built the vibe. So like everyone just talk about UAA hockey. Let's follow what Coach Shasby's doing. Let's get everyone excited about it again.
Let's get Coach Matt Shasby's Instagram followers up too, man.
Yeah, man.
I think he's a private account.
Private account. You got to unprivatize that.
Bad at that side of things.
Get one of those kids to run it.
Our Seawolf account. I actually have access to that. That's a good one to follow. or UAA Hockey or whatever it is, Seawolf Hockey Instagram account.
Yeah.
Coach, you manage your own personal one?
I have one. I have like 3 posts.
Yeah, we
ever.
saw.
Well, first off, you got to make it public.
My 14-year-old daughter, at the time, she's 15 now, made me get one once I got the job.
Bree, right?
Bryn.
Bryn,
So
my bad. Yeah, Bryn.
the only 2 pictures I ever posted was when we got our team bags in. And I think like a picture of like National Mascot Day or something of Spirit the Seawolf.
There's not a picture of you with the suit and aviators?
Oh, get that on there, man.
Oh, my God, dude.
I should have a photo shoot. With the
All right, it is Seawolf Hockey.
Seawolf
so
Hockey.
that's the one to follow.
Okay.
So let's follow that one.
Okay, Seawolf Hockey.
Coach
we get on.
Shasby's is private, so
Yeah.
follow this one.
All right.
Seawolf Hockey it is. Matt, thank you for what you've done for not only the youth around here, but also for all of us that have grown up watching you play hockey at UAA, for the Aces, and just in general what you've done for the entire community in hockey. I know a lot of that time is spent unseen, you know, those Sunday mornings, those Sunday nights, those weekends on the road and things like that. And so from Alaska Wild Project and our entire audience, thank you for what you've done. We have really, really high hopes for UAA and for the Seawolves, and I 100% believe that it's going to be a big bounce back. And I think that the bar is set high, and I think we're going to get there. So thank you for coming on and chatting with us, and good luck with all the endeavors you got going on, and good luck to all the boys over there at UAA, and we hope to see you at the next coming up games.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And, yeah, our next games are December 2nd and 3rd, and hopefully you guys can make it out, and appreciate you guys' time so much.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Coach.
UAA.
Yeah, man, and you know, I said this earlier when we had JJ on. I wanted to just throw my last little like love, you know, pitch out is that they found the right man for the job.
Thank you.
They did. That someone that really wants this, is passionate about it. I think you're a very unique base pillar.
Yep.
Stuck in the ground to make it happen. Cornerstone.
Yep.
There it is, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Alaska, for listening. We appreciate you. Let's support the Seawolves, and always, as always, stay wild.
You'll remember my speaking to you of what I call your overcautiousness. Are you not overcautious when you assume that you cannot do what the enemy is constantly doing?
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit arborcapital.io today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce cards, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They are the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Snow Pro AK, your snow and ice management company specializing in business and residential properties. They know what it takes to keep your property presentable and safe. Give them a call for a free estimate at 280-7098 or visit lawnproak.com. Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th, handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
Should you not claim to be at least his equal in prowess and act upon the claim? I say try. If we never try, we shall never succeed. This proposition is a simple truth, and it's too important to be lost sight of for a moment. If we cannot beat the enemy where he now is, we never can. It is all easy if our troops march as well as the enemy, and it is unmanly to say they cannot do it.